Hello everyone and welcome to Deathy's Death Slam. As always, we started off with the ending text, even though I changed it on the timer, it still said that, so you know, professional production. I'm joined here today with Griffin, who for him it's right now 5 a.m. as he's on the West Coast, so you know, thank you for joining us so early, Griffin. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to wake up early and watch Deadlock first thing in the morning. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so a few people in chat have asked like who you are or whatever, so I guess why don't you give a little, we have a couple minutes before the first game is gonna get going anyway, so why don't you give a quick little introduction about yourself?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Griffin. I'm currently a North America Eternal 6 player. I had a lot of experience playing competitive Deadlock back in like November, December of last year. Taking a quick break from competitive recently, but I'm looking to get into casting. So I'm glad for Deathy to give me a chance to perform and hopefully entertain you guys today.
Oh yeah, so you know, once again, thanks for being here. It's really early for us guys, so I mean it's 5 a.m. for Griffin, so particularly early for him, but quite early for me as well. Yeah, one sec, sorry. I'm just letting the teams basically know that they can go ahead with the draft. So today, just a game plan for everybody. To be clear, we've got 3 series ahead of us. So this is day 1 of EU. So there's going to be day 2, which is going to be next weekend, Saturday, which is going to be the elimination stage. So today is Swift stage to determine the seeding for then the elimination. So no team gets eliminated today. It's a low pressure, and it's all of these teams like first official matches. I just gave the teams the go-ahead for the draft, so we're probably going to get straight into it. Let me just give you the link as well so that you have it and can follow along. And let me
Thank you.
Let me swap over to the drafting screen. And so here we are. So we've got Pool F3 Kentucky versus Press Some Buttons. Now, for those that don't know, I'll give a little bit of lore. Pool F3 Kentucky is Ryan Central's team. Well, I say his team. He's not the team captain, but he's the person that you guys would know as the coach of TF2 Boomers, and he made that the team name. So Griffin, you probably wouldn't know, but that's KFC in French. So in Quebec, that's what KFC is called.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Don't worry. When I come over to Canada, I'll maybe pull up to Toronto. I'll use the lingo.
Well, in Toronto, you definitely won't need to use this lingo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just in Quebec, because Canada is a bilingual country officially, at least. But Quebec's only official language is French. Fun fact.
Oh.
So, there's some Canada Quebec drama. I mean, we're not going to get into it, but much love to my fellow Canadians out there. Much love to my fellow Quebecois and all. I'm sure none of you are watching right now because it's 8 a.m. So it's really much love to the European region, and I saw some people from India in the chat and Australia. So all of those regions that are giving us some support, thank you. And we've got Abrams and Shiv Band and Warden first picked. Any surprises so far?
Not really, because I mean, if I remember,
I'd say this is pretty standard,
the
so
fight
far.
night recently, Shiv and Abrams were high priority. Warden as well. I've never seen it this early. I believe Warden was usually like second, third pick, fourth pick. But this kind of makes sense for what I was expecting to see, especially if you consider just like people's history of matchmaking and the characters that we've seen, like mainly abuse the new items in ways that other characters can't.
Yeah.
Obviously, as like a competitive player, when I was like the pick role. So it was basically stuck on Paradox for the entirety of my competitive career.
Makes
so
sense.
that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a converted Bebop one trick waiting in the wings.
It's possible. I do think that one or two teams have some Bebop players. So one thing I'll say is, obviously, I gave some coaching to all of these teams prior to today. It was only 1 hour per team, so I just focused on the fundamentals. But one thing that I did focus on was drafting, and so I kind of like highlighted the importance with every team of getting a pick hero. And so I think we'll see both teams most likely pick a pick hero in the top 3, but we'll see. Maybe it'll surprise me, because essentially kind of what I told them is like, hey, if you don't pick Paradox or Holiday top 3, the other team has the option of picking one and banning the other, which can leave you a little bit stranded. Depending on the situation. And so we'll see. And Ryan is the pick hero on the PFK team. So we can just say PFK for ease of use. So we've got PFK versus PSB.
I mean, you could let me know, is this Ryan's competitive debut?
This is Ryan's competitive debut in Deadlock, yes.
Okay, I'll do my best. You might have to be slightly biased towards Ryan or against Ryan. I don't know.
No, I'm biased against him.
Okay. I'll be a supporter. I'm an enabler.
Yeah. You can be
heroes. Oh boy, he's my man.
Yeah. I mean, he's been playing in scrims like mostly Holiday and Paradox, as far as I'm aware. So we've got. I am a little bit surprised. Neither team opting to pick heroes. So most likely, they took my teachings, they applied them in scrims, and they thought I was wrong. That's the most likely
so your
explanation.
Own coach is not listening to you, so
that's okay. I mean, if neither team picks a pick hero top 3, it's fine, because like now you get kind of like either they can both ban the pick heroes, or neither of them, and then they both get one. I will say that it's still advantageous towards the Sapphire team. As I say this, they're looking to ban Viscous, so it might not matter at all. Yeah. But Sapphire basically is all damage, and I mean, it looks like pretty much all the damage dealing heroes are just being picked like top 6, except Kelvin.
Yeah. I mean, especially because a lot of these players are in that Phantom range. I could see a lot of issues with hero pools, and so I could see a lot of the draft strategy in the current early phase be around securing prio picks, not necessarily for their meta position, but for how prevalent they are to teams' hero pools and playstyle and composition.
Yeah.
Ivy ban. Ooh.
Yeah, so Ivy ban, I'm proud to say that's from one of my teachings. Okay. Because here's the thing. If you pick Kelvin and you play into Ivy, the game is very difficult.
Agree.
You know, it's just like Kelvin is a powerful hero, yes, but I think he's not nearly as powerful as everyone thinks, as in the sense that there are some counters. Ivy is one of the biggest counters, in my opinion, especially now that you can't debuff remove the silence, right?
Yep.
So it's just
Totally.
it's much harder than it was before.
I mean, that Ivy ultimate is literally a wall of text. Like, not only do you have the silence, you have, I think it's minus 12% bullet resist dread.
Yeah, I think it's minus 12% bullet resist, and it's like, I don't know, it just does everything. Gives a shield, like it allows you to be a global hero. You become a flying gargoyle. Like the hero is insanely powerful, so banning it is not crazy. And then Paradox 4th pick. I assume we'll probably see like a holiday come out 4-5 here. I do think so. So they picked Calico. We'll probably see some box running shenanigans. Ryan told me a lot of the teams.
Did you teach them the routes?
Well, I didn't teach them the route specifically because I only had 1 hour, but you know, they can figure that out on their own.
Yep. I mean,
so I think it's gonna be Calico holiday here for sure.
If I see a brawl at 2 minutes over sewers, I'm gonna be impressed. I'm gonna be excited.
You know, we'll see. I think that what's most likely to happen is that both teams will kind of just be looking to optimize their boxes. So from the NA tournament, especially in day one thing that the teams were doing that I don't expect to see as much today is in day one in NA, a lot of the teams were like really scared in the laning stage. Like, I think it was, you know, the nerves and everything, and like Viper. Okay, I am very surprised at that.
Me too.
I'm excited though.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see Holiday for sure here, but I guess not.
Maybe they're not worried about picking a pick hero because they don't believe the other that press some buttons would pick 2 pick heroes. Maybe that's why they're not entirely worried about this holiday getting taken from them. Or maybe they're just confident that their Viper can run people down. I'm interested to see like the Mo and Krill picks, the Viper
Mo and
picks,
Krill
and the
Dynamo
picks. Whoa.
Okay. I mean, picking... Okay, so, you know, the Dynamo, in my opinion, makes the Viper pick better. I mean, for a long time, I've thought that Viper is a pretty decent counter to Dynamo because it gives you, like, a long-range Dynamo canceling ability. And then Holiday as well is pretty good, like the lasso to get him out of the black hole. They don't have, like... To be fair, these are both ultimates that you kind of want to use to engage sometimes, so it might be a little awkward. And in NA, we saw, like, Dynamo kind of dominate these types of tournaments. Just because, you know, people are not disciplined, people group and all that stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think if we look at a laning stage perspective, I am a little bit worried about press some buttons laning, like, strength. Like, they have some very strong laners in Lady Geist, Yamato, and, like, Paradox. But I think Wraith, Moan Krill, and Dynamo are all, like, definitely on the weaker side of the cast. Whereas I look at PFK... And almost all of their heroes I would consider like very strong laners. The weakest one they have might be Calico, funnily enough, which I don't think is that weak of a laner, but that's probably their weakest laner.
Yeah, I think, like, I was going to mention, even though Yamato relatively is like a strong laner, especially with just the prevalence of the alt fire and with, you know, just, I don't if the climb or the mantle power slash.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like a lot of the characters on Bullet Frit Kentucky, do my best here. Honestly, shut that down a lot. Like Viper, especially. Like I'm pretty sure if Yamato is trying to just peek a corner, Viper can just go crazy and just run Yamato down.
Yeah.
Holiday in the air barreling just counters Yamato, I think. And so I'm honestly really worried about pressing buttons. We'll see if the Europeans get more aggressive than NA, if they take some risks and just try to like push a whole lead in the first 10 minutes. That's what I'm excited for this game.
Yeah. So you can get in the, you just make sure you get in the spectator in the lobby and then ready up. I'm letting the teams know that they can go whenever. So looks like everyone's ready. I'm gonna just click start. It's visible to everyone. Auto select region. Here we go. Making sure. And then on the meantime, I will be doing some professional production and moving the team names in my overlay. All right. So what I like to do is do a quick little rundown of who's on what hero. So some of these names might be a little hard to say, right? But I'll be doing Amber team, and then I'll let you do Sapphire. So on Amber, we've got Dennis PS on the Warden, Ryan from, you know, Ryan Central on the Holiday. We've got Pasek on the Mirage, Pancakes on the Viper, Lavrinto on the Calico, and Jerpo on the Kelvin.
On the other side, here on Yamato, we have Deathy. On Paradox, we have Flash. On Moan Krill, we have Methuselah. Wraith, we have That's Bad. On Lady Geist, we have Crazy Steve. And on a Dynamo, we have SCS.
Oh yeah, and you know, I like just getting into the lane matchups and talking about it a little bit. So mid lane, we've got Kelvin Warden versus Geist Paradox. So Geist Paradox, I would say, is very, very standard like lane in the sense that you see this lane run quite a bit. The idea is pretty simple, like double nade. You've got a lot of pressure, a lot of wave clear, and I would argue that this is by far, you know, the press some buttons the strongest lane. And so they really need this lane to win, in my opinion, because I don't really see their other lanes winning. Like on the other side, you've got Dynamo, Yamato, that's going to be tough, and like Mo and Curl Wraith is really just like a stall lane. I don't see how Mo and Curl Wraith is ever going to win against the Viper Mirage here for sure.
At least on the right side or the left side currently, the Calico took a huge beating. So at least for right now, if Calico doesn't stabilize real soon, I could see that Yamato Dynamo pressing the advantage and definitely looking for dives on a lane that relatively should be undiveable.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, we'll see how this plays out. I'm curious, like, obviously lane matchups are one thing, but execution is another, right?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it's something that's gonna vary team by team. Let me just do a little something. One sec. My computer was kind of struggling. I think the stream quality may have dropped. I apologize for that. I should be fixed now, so I apologize if there was a little bit of a slideshow. But yeah, like one thing that I saw very often is that lanes that should be winning or lanes that should be losing actually ended up going the other way, just based on pure player execution, right? And one hero that I think we need to keep an eye on this game is the Viper. I think if the Viper has a great game, that could really be like the determining factor for the side of PFK.
Entirely. I think everyone in matchmaking has had the experience of Viper just completely taking over the game, especially in the current item meta, which I think Viper greatly benefited from. If pancakes can become fish cakes incarnate from hydration, I believe we could have a very, very fast game on our hands, contrary to how I think the current meta is being played.
Yeah, so one thing that's interesting is, like, obviously I've been scrimming a fair amount on the current patch, and ever since the changes, I think even at a lower level, I don't expect the games to take anywhere near as long as they took on NA initially. So NA was played on a previous patch where the games took longer, and on top of that, like, you know, the people were not as used to it, and I think in general, NA is a little bit more scared as a region. Like, you can even see it in matchmaking. Like, EU tends to be, like, more bloodbaths, NA tends to be a little bit slower. And nowadays, like, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see most of these games end in, you know, 25 to 30 minutes. Because if you get a lead and you get the rejuve minions and the enemy in the base, it's just, like, impossible to kill them. Great news, though. First blood in mid. Yeah, I missed it as well, but it's okay.
Crazy Steve escapes with 1 HP. Comes back. So it was almost a trade. It was almost a close trade. Looks like there's a bit of fighting going on. I'm mainly watching this Viper lane right now. I'm really impressed by Pancake's play. He's watching the Bone Krill go for like melee secures on creeps, and every time the Bone Krill goes for a heavy punch, Pancakes is instantly chasing the Bone Krill down. Fortunately, not doing too much damage. I am interested to see, because from what I understand of the item patch and watching how I've been playing and how I watch the professionals play, obviously Cult of Sacrifice has been one of the predominant items that everyone's been buying. Whether or not they get use of it, I don't know. But like the Viper, for example, already has monster rounds. The Warden has monster rounds.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested to see how many Cultist Sacrifices we get this game, versus choosing to play like if instead of Cultist Sacrifice, obviously the Viper could just buy Burst Fire, Close Quarters, a lot of good gun items to just like push the lead. So I'm kind of interested to see how the Viper is choosing to play this like early to mid game, push their advantage.
Yeah, so Moon Curl grabs the Viper here.
Yep.
Goes down. And Ryan also goes down on the other lane, so 3 kills for the side of Press Some Buttons right now. 3-0. 4K lead, I mean,
mid lane?
That's really not good.
Oh, that's happening everywhere here for the side of...
And the tower goes down in the Dynamo Yamato lane already at 5 minutes, and 4 kills to 0. This is definitely not the start that you want to see if you're, a PFK fan at the moment. How many healing Novas do we have? We've got on the side of
Kelvin,
1, 2, 3.
one among Grill.
We've got 4 on press on buttons. Look, this could be a healing Nova diff. There's only 2 healing Novas on the side of PFK, and there's 4 on the side of press on buttons. Now, I do expect this item to be nerfed eventually. Like, you know, it would be funny if like we got something like the Fight Night, like a patch dropping in mid-tournament or something. Oh yeah.
Warden's getting run down. Ooh.
Oh no, the dome.
Warden goes 2 inside, but this looks not good. Oh, he misses the parry.
Yeah.
Pressured a little too early. Yeah, that was the Warden there. Just got double swapped by the Geist into the Paradox. No hope for the Warden to cast Last Stand and save himself from that situation.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the side of PFK right now, I mean, I'd already be a little worried. But one thing that I will say, I learned from the NA tournament is that leads are easily thrown, especially at this level of play. However, the one thing I do worry about is you don't have the Dynamo on your side. If I had Dynamo, I would feel a little more comfortable because I'd be like, okay, well, you know, at least we've got the black hole effect, right? Maybe we can get something going. But here we see PFK opting for the Calico on box runs, and they put the Warden mid. Warden trying to make something happen in the ult.
Last Stand, Warden hitting 2. We want to look in the mid lane.
Yeah, guys, no swap. I think she's gonna die.
Oh!
The fucking beatdown.
Great light punch to stun Crazy Steve as he tries to go for the mantle. So I agree with you entirely on that Dynamo black hole. You know, you're trying to end the like Patron is down and you're up 30k and you think you should be able to end the game, but obviously the Patron pit is like the scariest thing to play in as Dynamo. But I'd argue.
Wait, Warden getting swapped. He's half health. I think he might be going down. Wait, Divine Barrier. I mean, sorry, Guardian Ward from the Kelvin.
And healing Nova. He's 600 HP.
He's chill.
Oh,
he's good.
How do you punch around the corner? Yeah. I'd like to argue, though, that I think Warden kind of has a similar effect with Last Stand. Not entirely as strong as Dynamo in terms of coordinated 6v6 effort, but with Last Stand, if the side of press some buttons like oversteps and the Warden's able to find, I don't know if he's going to go an ultimate build, but if he finds a really good ultimate engage, you know, catches 3 or 4 without movement options,
yeah,
right? Just a good Warden ult with good positioning can like easily make up for, I think, a 20k lead in terms of teamfight prowess. So I don't think it's entirely doomed for
no, definitely not. Definitely not. It's definitely not entirely doomed. And I do agree. I think it's more likely we see a gun Warden. The reason for that is, especially in EU, that's been more popular recently. With the, you know, the spell slinger. He's getting gone on again. He got swapped again mid. I mean, this Paradox ultimate is just always up. Like, Yoshi, can we look at the cooldown?
Good on flash for, you know, hitting these. Better accuracy than my Eternus matchmaking.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job. And one thing that I see often as well, that I, you know, when I coach the NA teams was like, hey, your Paradox, your ultimate basically doesn't have a cooldown. It's like a fake cooldown. And so make sure that you're using it as often as you can to create opportunities for your team. So he's doing that. They're not managing to, you know, finish off the Warden thanks to, you know, good defense by Jerpo on the Kelvin, but still, you know, he's going for it, trying to make stuff happen. And now it's only a 4k lead, even though like it's 8 kills to 1, like 4 to 5k lead. It is significant, but it's not, you know, impossible for PFK to come back from this.
Yep. I mean, they were at a 7k deficit at 5 minutes, so I believe they brought it back quite a bit here at 5k. Oh, Warden's ulting in the mid, like, trying to defend the Walker.
Yeah, and we see actually the Yamato going down in the left lane here, as Ryan and Laverinto are going to push this Guardian, and I think that they're going to be able to take it down pretty easily. I mean, it's 9 minutes, so these Guardians, they die pretty quickly. And now, all of a sudden, we've got a full even game, even though it's 8 kills to 2. And one thing I want to mention real quick is the new comeback mechanics. So ever since the item patch, the comeback mechanics, there's 2 things that are different. One is you get more money from everything, but you get less money from kills themselves when you're behind, in proportion to how far behind you are, right? And the second thing is comeback mechanics don't come into play until there's a 3k difference in net worth, which before it came into play a little bit before that. So it can be harder to come back from a laning stage deficit than it was before, because before, if you just got like 1 good kill into a tower, a lot of the time you were kind of back to even. But now, even though the numbers might look bigger, it's actually a little harder in my experience to come back from a laning stage deficit right now.
Buffs are spawning right now. We can see Ryan and Laverinto are kind of stuck in the middle of 3. We have a Mirage TP here to help fight the left buff. Laverinto gets caught out here. Ryan is dancing around. Kind of interestingly, I was keeping an eye on it. I was keeping an eye on the items. I believe we have 4 cultist sacks on the side of Poulet. We have
Wait.
bot or
Kelvin's got a heroic aura super
Yeah.
early.
yeah.
I mean, I
And
think this
also-
item's insane, but you know, that it is a little early. But I think the item is great value.
And he has max nade, which with this type of build, I was expecting maybe a few more points in his ultimate. I wonder if we'll see an extra charge or a little bit.
Yeah,
more
max nade without extra charge is definitely a bit interesting. Then again, this like extra charge rapid recharge item is like actually
Rapid
like so
recharge
much
is
worse.
So awful.
Yeah,
you
rapid
can
recharge
secure
is
cooldown.
pretty bad.
Superior cooldown is, I believe, just the better ability to just get more charges. And
Yeah,
superior
100%.
cooldown on Kelvin, because he currently has 3 actives. So that's
Wait,
like
Moen
by
Crow
far
grab
the
on the
best
right side
build.
here. Kelvin looking for some defensive play on top of the urn. Domes the urn.
The
Oh,
urn.
misses the parry just barely, unfortunately. But Metu's going to be going down as he beams onto the Wraith. Ryan going in. Are they going to be able to secure the urn?
Value already.
True. Ryan standing on top of the urn. That's my coach right there. Oh, he misses the double
Oh my
jump.
god, he's
He got it. And
I
all
said
of a
swap
sudden,
on the warden here.
yeah, nothing's gonna come from that. So it's actually kind of good because now Geist doesn't have swap
Yeah.
for what, like 2 minutes, 150 seconds, so a little more than 2 minutes. So any fight that Geist is gonna be part of, she's not gonna be as scary. And
Poulette for Kentucky also invested a lot of ultimates here. We only have the Calico ultimate left. Like we still have Wraith. We still have Wraith Paradox swap into Wraith ult, which I think is a really strong pick potential.
yeah,
Especially with the Yamato ult, I could see them holding turrets for a lot longer than Poulette Lifrit wants.
yeah, they're pushing
There's
mid
no
here.
stuck
The
in
healing
second.
Nova. Yeah, Yamato's just kind of happy though with that. You know, she's farming, but mid's gonna be going down. Warden trying to reset here. They're trying not to lose any members. Paradox
Calico
swap
gets
onto
swapped back.
one.
Unfortunately, Calico swap's the only one with an escape option.
Yeah. And we see Mirage 13k right now, 14k on Pasek on the Mirage. He's got the Cultist Sacrifice, Swift Striker, K-Dash, you know, full fire rate Mirage. And this is definitely not the hero you want to see kind of like have this type of start. Because now, who's going to be able to match him in the side lane, right? Like your Wraith has 11k, your Yamato has 12k. And Yamato's already like not that good at matching Mirage really in the 1v1. And so this guy's going to be really scary in the side lanes. Viper's full gun.
Yep. Viper is going. Has his max 2. I wonder at what power spike the Viper will start feeling comfortable to just go for it.
Petrify onto the Dynamo. Swap onto the
Ooh,
Viper.
Beautiful swap.
He's trying to slither away. 150 health. 3 health. Can he make it out?
Oh my god.
He's 1 HP.
flash is
Paradox is in. Parry!
Oh!
There's no way.
Oh my god.
He actually lives.
He gets out.
There's
He's
actually
healing
no
ready.
way.
He's going back in. He's going back in. He has his prey. He won't let it escape.
Now, I have a question for you. Have you
Yep.
seen the recent Sean Garris video?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Okay, because I'm starting to think, with what I just saw, I think that not only is Tier 2 Valorant like a gambling scheme, but like this tournament too, because like that looked scripted as hell. Like, there's no
I'm
way.
afraid I might have to agree.
How does he live? Like, what? DFK, huge momentum, though. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of ready to throw in the towel for Ryan. I was like, nah, Ryan's team is cooked. Like, they just got owned in the laning stage with like 7 kills to 0. But now they're up 6k, despite being down 3 kills still, mind you. And so, you know, this really proves that if you're old, you just got to rely on the macro gameplay and not, you know, the mechanical skill. I mean, Ryan's 0, 1, and 2, but he's got 14k. He doesn't care.
Sorry, did you just say if you're old?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, Ryan's like 36, so he's like...
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's literally
Oh,
like a boomer. So, you know. It's okay, though.
I'm just saying, I don't entirely know if you should be calling the kettle black, but
well,
I'll call
I
both.
mean,
I got you.
I also
call both.
rely on macro, you know. I'm not...
Okay.
I'm not 17 anymore. I'm not about the mechanical skill.
I see.
That was you know, old me. But Buffs and Erden 15, and look at this movement from the teams here. We see PSB very aware of this urn, while PFK might not be so aware. Ryan goes for the last one. The Yamato. Ooh, wait. They got rescue beamed right away, I think.
Already
The last
seen
one just got
Rescue.
deleted. It was either rescue beam or Dynamo 2. I'm not sure, but it got deleted right away. Big team fight on the right side, though. Ryan throwing lassos. Moen
No
Curl
pro
grab
combos.
onto one. Metu goes down, though. Ryan's in the air, looking for a little bit more damage. Nothing
While this
really
fight's
happening, though.
Wraith is Wraith is about to hit the left walker. Calico noticed, but a little too late. The Wraith is gonna get good damage here. Especially
Yeah, I'm watching
considering
this Wraith just melt it.
the cultist sacrifice active.
Wait, Silence Wave on Calico. Wait a second.
Silence Wave Hunter's Aura. So that's how the Calico is deciding to respond to this Wraith here, is just rushing the Hunter's Aura, completely neutralizing Wraith's damage. Wraith still has ultimate. Calico does have.
I will say, I'm kind of
respond,
surprised
but-
to see this Wraith just like the way that she's running, but at the same time, I will say,
Calico
even if she
making it
mans
out?
up, I mean, Wraith is 1 HP. Is that backstabber on
Wow.
Calico as well? Yeah, it is.
Yep. Interesting builds, or interesting but effective builds I'm seeing here on the side of Bullet for Kentucky. The Kelvin built Rescue Beam. So Kelvin already has 4 active slots, and seems to be getting a lot of value from all 4.
Yeah.
Press some buttons looking to earn here. Great on the Dynamo. I guess they're getting a free confirm.
Wait, Calico
he doesn't-
stops the urn. Beautiful from Calico as she tries to 1v1 the Dynamo, and we've got the fight going
Wraith is
on here
coming in.
and on top of the urn, but this is like 4v4. This is very, very scrappy. Kelvin just going on top of it. Instantly gets silenced by the Wraith, but this Kelvin's very tanky. He's got Heroic Aura. He's got everything. Rescue Beam, and he's got
I'm
Dome
looking
as
at the
well.
Dynamo Lactable right now. I don't know if they know that you can Dynamo TP an urn carrier and basically capture the urn for free. Because while someone is in Dynamo TP or Dynamo Quantum Warp, let's say if the Moan Krill picked up the urn, Dynamo could TP the Moan Krill in place and basically secure the urn while Moan Krill's just outside the map. So unfortunately,
Yeah,
they are having the Dynamo hold the urn.
EFK was
know
also
if they're
pushing a
aware of this.
Walker in the meantime on the right side. I think that there's a little bit of a misplay from the Viper. I think the Viper actually could have committed and gone the Walker there, but instead kind of like opted to try to turn on the Yamato and preserve his life.
Yep.
I think if they just focused the objective, they would have gotten it, but they're still trying to get this turn on the left side here. Calico gets swapped. As Calico's 1 HP, has to pop her ultimate. Ryan goes down. Let's get on the Wraith POV here as Wraith just kind of melting people. Pasek on the Mirage, very, very strong, but kind of forcing to back up, and he kills the Wraith, but goes down himself.
The Kelvin dumps 3 active items on the Calico, so Calico makes it out alive.
Calico's still trying to defend this, by the way.
Oh, beautiful black hole.
Yeah, that's gonna be Urn from the side of Press Some Buttons as the Viper gets grabbed on the other side of the map and goes down as well. And once again, we're back to full even game, but I would say that momentum is definitely going to be in favor of PSB as they're going to get the Urn here, and they should be able to get a Walker. So it's not going to be even anymore. We should be seeing like a 5 to 6k lead. Although Warden is going to trade for the mid Walker at the very least.
I'm keeping a lookout for some builds on the build path here just to see. Yamato built Mystic Reverb with max 1. That's going to start doing some damage. I think the Dynamo build is hilarious, but probably most effective here with just rushing superior cooldown and building duration on the ultimate. Just trying to get max value out of just winning.
Do you think he's just going to rush Refresher? I mean, he's got 6,300 souls.
I could see it.
No, he
I
just
think,
goes Rescue
we've
Beam.
seen-
He's
we've seen
reasonable. He's a
Refresher Rush
reasonable
have-
guy. He's a reasonable guy. Goes Rescue Beam. Warp stuff.
I mean, he's gotten a
That's,
taste
you
of.
know,
He's gotten a
sense.
taste of just magical black holes. He might just want more. The only reason I play Dynamo is for the dopamine of hitting a 3-man.
That's fair. Looking at the Mirage, looks like we've got Sharpshooter, Scherzer Power. So I would have expected to see like a more early like Siphon Bullets, especially like with how well this Mirage was doing. And Siphon Bullets, even before like it became like item of the week or whatever, when everybody was freaking out, like it's always been like a Mirage staple, you know? Like no matter how good the item has been, very often it's been built on Mirage, and so I really expected to see it, but not opting for it. And anything else interesting? We see the Yamato already has reverb, 24k net worth on this Yamato, so definitely we've got to watch out for Dexy and Crazy Steve in these fights on the side of Press Some Buttons.
Yeah, I really like this build from Yamato. I think a lot of the time he was buying for tempo here. Kind of interested to see though that the Viper, the Yamato does still lack some defenses in greens. And so I believe that with a good lasso, the Yamato could be caught out. But aside from lasso, Roulette for Kentucky doesn't really have any hard CC like the Moan Krill combo to like lock down the Yamato after the CC from lasso ends.
Wait, look on the left side right now. There's a fight happening onto the Geist. Geist has not used swap yet. Gets Viper ulted. Use a swap on the Kelvin. Can they bring her down? Viper just sliding in. Misses the active reload on the Viper. Oh, wait. Oh, no, never mind. He hits it. Onto the Paradox now as Crazy Steve went down. And remember, Crazy Steve is one of the highest net worth people on this team. So they're going to opt to reset as Ryan's got the urn. And, I mean, he's just booking it right now. He's going straight to the urn. He doesn't care. But Wraith, not if she has something to say about that. He goes forward, goes for the ult.
That was a very impressive dome from Jerpo there. I believe without the dome, SCS would have at least picked up a kill on the Viper.
Yeah, got this engage on the right side, though, on the urn. And I don't really think that they have numbers on this. I think this might be a little forced. As the Warden comes in with the ult, though. It's going on the Warden POV. Yamato going in. But as you said, she doesn't have a lot of greens. But she does have a lot of resistances in her ultimate, right? So she can still just kill everyone. And it looks like the urn is slipping away. Can the side of PSV manage to pick it up and try to dunk it? They did win this fight, but will they get the urn? Kelvin sprinting for it as well.
Kelvin already upgraded to Divine Barrier here on his active item.
Wait, oh, the Kelvin punch too early. And now she's going to go for it. He gets Rescue Beam sling towards it. Wait, Calico coming in hot, though?
Calico's looking for it.
Oh, no, she can't. This could be an
that
diff.
power slash is doing some damage. It's a 900 damage power slash already, including reverb.
Yeah, 900 damage. I think this hero needs a buff.
I concur. But obviously, Yamato ultimate is kind of one of the hardest things to properly kite out and deal with.
Yeah.
In terms of draft, I mean, Prolific Kentucky did draft the Kelvin, which I believe, like, at least for me, Kelvin is kind of one of those, not hard counters, but one of the ways to stop Yamato from like kind of running over your team, kind of way to kite out the ultimate. So I believe that was might have been the call from Ryan there to draft Kelvin in response to Yamato, but I don't know if I've seen it particularly be used.
Well, I think, yeah, I don't think it's really, I don't think we've seen it used that way yet. There's definitely potential for it. But we'll see kind of how it plays out. But so far, I mean, really the net worth difference is just because of the urns. Like 2 urns to the side of PSB, 10k diff. Ryan unfortunately does not connect on his lasso as they're looking for something around the mid lane. And I assume that we're going to see them just chill until the next lasso. And, you know, we've got a bit of a, like, just essentially neutral macro for a little bit. 10k lead, but nothing like, you know, crazy enough to force plays. And I don't think we're going to see much happen other than, like, you know, the Paradox and the Holiday looking for plays. But other than that, they're probably going to be a little bit more chill for the next, like, minute or two. As I say, that Warden just majestic leaps in onto the Wraith, but he doesn't have slowing X, so I don't really think he's doing anything to her.
Yeah. Warden built Mystic Slow. I could see Warden having 4,800.
He's going Lightning Stroll.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think
this Warden's running my build. Wait, that's actually exactly my build that I made the video about a couple days. Yeah.
This Moko is very deep. No one behind him. But his burrow to fall away.
I will say in my build, I have slowing Hex. I just want to clarify that, okay? He didn't build slowing Hex, but he built every other item that I built, so it is suspicious looking. There's a fight happening mid, though. Kelvin forced to use Dome defensively as he's 1 HP, taking down top 6 should be fine.
Warden looked to solo ult to the back here.
Yeah, gets Mo grabbed. He's fine, though.
I think this Warden is deep in enemy territory right now.
At the same time, that's kind of the guy you want, though. He gets solo Black Hold. I mean, that's fine. He already used his ult. He kind of did his job, so if they can manage to get anything else going, it might be okay. As Mirage is just on the side lane, and I would love to see this Mirage TP on top of the Wraith right now, as the Wraith is just taking the Walker, but the opts to just keep going in this lane instead, and they lose the Walker kind of for free.
Wraith made the right call there. Kelvin was pretty low at 900 HP, and Wraith just ulted the Kelvin and ignored. After ulting the Kelvin, it ignored the Kelvin and shot the Walker instead.
Yeah.
Hearing another flex slot for press a button.
Another sad day for the support players. They just literally get ignored by the carries. Like, they just shoot the Walker. They don't even care about you. It's just a classic MOBA moment. Buffs and earn in 20 seconds. We'll see how the teams respond to this. For those that are familiar, this will spawn on the right side of the map in the yellow lane. Actually, wait, no, sorry, not the yellow lane, the green lane. The spectator colors just have me all messed up.
Yeah.
But,
entirely.
you know, it will spawn on the right side, and it looks like the side of PFK is much more ready than Press of Buttons, as Ryan is going to look for a lasso. Connects onto the Wraith. Beautiful. Wraith into...
Oh, well, they don't hurt. There to capitalize. No slowing Hex. The barrel doesn't connect.
Yeah, can we buy a slowing Hex? Anyone?
Yeah.
I don't think we have a single slowing X. I'm gonna be real.
Interesting to see Ryan choose rapid recharge here.
Yeah, so this is the Demov build.
That makes a lot more sense. I mean, I think
So
rapid recharge
essentially,
is still a very good item, but
yeah. So essentially, the idea of this build is pretty simple. It's like you play Holiday, but you so essentially Holiday's gun is like it's decent still, but you can't like basically the best way to take advantage of her gun is Merc Magnum. So you build a bunch of Spirit, you max barrels
the
to
warden's
have
getting
like
gone on
wait.
the right buff. Kelvin did provide like 1,000 healing and shielding from Divine Barrier and Rescue Beam.
I mean,
We're
once
now
again,
testing
this
ultimate, running
raid.
down the Paradox and Secret Shop.
Yeah, Paradox should die for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Lightning Scroll on the Warden now, so a bit unfortunate that he had to use that for the one kill. I don't really think that this is really that great for them, but I do love what PFK are doing in the sense that they are kind of baiting the enemy team to come towards the urn, and we've got Dennis on the Warden here, split pushing this lane, and he should be able to get this Walker, even if he dies for it. This Walker's so hurt. And they get the urn on top of that.
And it was a comeback urn, so
Yeah.
provide a lot of money for them with the new comeback mechanics. And to get the flex slot,
Dennis getting ran down by 3 people here. Should go down,
we get
but
the Mo combo.
doesn't really matter if he dies here, to be honest. We're not even going to look at his death. I'm going to spare him the pain. I'm just going to move away to the Mirage. The death never happened. I mean, realistically, that death is fairly irrelevant. Like, it does matter, but I don't really think that PSV is going to be able to capitalize on much during that time. We do have Siphon Bullets on the Mirage now. So this Mirage
Calico's
is
getting
very
run down
scary.
here in the mid-boss pit.
Take a look
Runs
here.
away.
Calico's got Colossus.
Calico runs back in.
Yeah, Calico just died. That's not good.
Yeah.
Now that's quite bad because now they can go for mid boss. We'll see what happens, but I mean, right? Yeah, they're just going for mid boss right away. Do we have Max Viper ult? We don't. Okay. We have Dome though.
Built glass cannon. I like that. Yep. Kelvin
Glass
built
cannon.
improved reach or greater expansion here. Looks like Kelvin's going for it. Mo and Krill spacing the Kelvin. Black hole secure.
Yep. They force Black Hole.
Yep.
We'll see if that matters really, but I think at the end of the day, it's you know 10k lead and Rejuve. Now I see this playing one of 2 ways. Rejuve is so strong nowadays, and it lasts 4 minutes. So what's going to happen is either PFK is going to be able to hold on and they'll be okay, or they're going to get like hard snowballed here, as it looks like PSB is not trying to waste any time and they're going straight for this mid walker.
What I'm worried about here is Jerpo still hasn't built superior cooldown, so I'm worried that Jerpo would use his glacial shelter to like maybe like win one fight here. Maybe he's gonna use it to save the Viper. But I fear he won't have it for a second fight when like
Wait, swap onto the Kelvin. Oh wait, he got saved. I mean, good defensive play here. Yeah, Warden's got he does have Lightning Scroll, right? I will say that he is being perhaps a little scared. I mean, maybe rightfully so. They have a lot of damage on the other side, but not really much happened from that ultimate, and that's kind of like the one fight-changing ultimate that you have. So now you're significantly weaker without it, and we'll see. It looks like PSB is just going to back up. They don't want to overextend here. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, they still have the tools. I think that they could have kept the push going, and these minions are so hard to deal with, as you see this Warden just like struggling to clear them.
Ryan on the Holiday was coming up as they left, so maybe they were scared of getting lassoed into fighting his 5v6. But on the counterpoint, they did have the Paradox swap, so they could have also looked to push their advantage there as well.
Yeah, they had Paradox swap. They had like
Yamato refresher.
ult.
Mo and Krill has Phantom Strike now, so now Mo and Krill has Blink or Warpstone Phantom Strike. So that Mo and Krill is looking a lot more scary, a lot more intimidating, with a much wider range of engage.
Yeah, I think you.
Dynamo also has refresher too, so.
Yeah, we've got double refresher timing now. Dynamo did actually use the refresher, by the way, so he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. It might have been a misclick, or maybe he thought there was going to be a fight happening. I'm not really sure, but either way, he doesn't have the refresher, but he does have the black hole again. I think that if you're the side of PSV, this is kind of your timing, and you really don't want to give PFK too much time to like scale further into the game. I think that the later this goes, it is probably slightly to the favor of PFK. Like, if this Viper gets unstoppable and gets really fed, it could be a huge issue. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to deal with that. Especially imagine a Viper with like armor piercing rounds. Like, your Yamato's just gonna die instantly, probably, if you get there.
One of the results of Press and Buttons or PSB calling off the push into the base was that because they have 6 rejuve, they were basically able to secure both buffs. pretty handedly.
Yeah.
So
And the Urn.
the
I
Moan
mean,
Krill took casting, and the Wraith has survival. So I mean, a lot of strong combat augments. Paradox goes for a swap here. Ryan lassos the Paradox, but gets Wraith ulted instead in return.
a DB onto Ryan. I mean, great defensive play from the Kelvin. I've seen a lot of clutch DBs and clutch rescue beams this game. As Warden is in with his ult. Onto the Yamato. Labyrinthel goes down. Yeah, Yamato is a bit of an issue as we see PFK on the back foot here, having to retreat. They lose Ryan as well. Kelvin tries to dome a bit too late, and looks like this is going to be a wipe for PFK with maybe Warden making it out, but it's not looking good for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Wraith on the side of PSB really took over that fight, even though we saw the Yamato kind of just denying the entire Warden ultimate. The Wraith ended up just running down the rest of the team, while Warden was 1v1ing the Yamato with Last Stand.
Yeah, and if you've ever been, if you've played Deadlock recently, if you haven't, that's okay, no worries, we'll tell you. But if you've played it recently, you know how scary the situation is to be, because the reality is, I'm pretty sure they can just end the game. If they realize this, I think they can, because the respawn timers are just a little bit too long. They're not going to be quite up in time, and the base does get melted, and these minions are really hard to deal with. Wraith
Yamato has Refresher ultimate.
It's over.
I think that Yamato single-handedly has this in the bag.
It's just over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just melted. GG.
GG.
They took that instantly. I mean, you've got a lot of objective damage with the Wraith, with the Yamato, with the Geist, and Wraith full auto. And it's just over. So let me get the scoreboard so that we can look at it. 1 sec. I need to just get the match ID as professional production. Give me a sec.
Yep.
Okay, so the match ID is 362-557. I'll send it to you over Discord so we can both look at the scoreboard, see if there's any outliers. But realistically, I think that this is how we're going to see a lot of games go today, which is the games are fairly even. There's, a slight lead being obtained, and then mid-boss into ending the game. Like, mid-boss is so powerful. If you get it and you win a fight, it's essentially like GG pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of how like that transition from laning phase into the mid game went, the side of PSB, right? They had like 4 cultists. I think they ended up selling a few, but they had a lot of cultist sacrifices. They were pushing their advantage with both. They're staying either even or in the lead with Poulet for Kentucky or PFK. I'm just gonna say PFK.
Yeah, PFK is easy.
They were even with PFK while having cultists, and they also had like 5 heal novas at one point. Like even the Wraith building heal nova, right, really helps their tempo and really just, I think, secured a lot of crucial earn fights for them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that this was, this was kind of like a really close game. I think at the end of the day, what really made the difference was the earn fights. That's really how PSB got their lead. And then there was, the slight misplay around the mid boss. And if you give a team a lead, you misplay around the mid boss and they can just like melt it. It's very, very scary. I will also say that, unfortunately, PFK failed to get the value out of their roster strength. Like, I think that they had, on their side, they should have had tempo and they should have had laning stage on their side, in my opinion. But unfortunately, they lost tower to Dynamo Yamato at 5 minutes. So that definitely wasn't the start you wanted them to have. And PSB looking pretty strong coming out of this game 1.
Yeah. Definitely on the mechanical side, I think Deathy proved his strength of the Yamato pick. Because I think they drafted Yamato 2nd or 3rd, right? Relatively early.
Yeah, it was 2nd pick.
Relatively early for what I believe like Yamato's strength in the pick order should be, right? Because Yamato was drafted over Paradox, over Holiday. Deathy put on a show though.
Yeah. And unfortunately for my boy Ryan on the Holiday, he had 1 or 2 nice lassos, but didn't get quite as much value as you would expect. And also another interesting stat is, I think that even though this Mirage had a lot of money and was very scary, we didn't quite see as much pressure on the sidelines as I would have loved to see from him. I think he might have played a little bit too scared, and it's understandable, right? The nerves are in, like it's first competitive game for a lot of these players. But he was really strong in it. He doesn't really have objective damage to his name. So I'm going to get a coaching session with all these guys next week as well. That's probably something that I'll be bringing up because I really think that he could have created a lot more pressure on the map and given his team a little bit more space to breathe.
Mhm. In his defense, I do understand a lot of the reasons he was scared. I could imagine that he wasn't entirely confident with the Yamato or winning the 1v1 against Yamato with ultimate up. And also
Yeah.
with the addition of Dynamo, like a Dynamo solo ult or a Bone Crow combo or Wraith ult, right? I think the side of PSB has like a lot of potential ways to shut him down, especially if they hit him with the slowing hex into one of those signature ultimates.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So for the people in the chat, next game that we are going to cast, so I haven't actually decided yet, and so I'm gonna do a little poll, and I'm gonna do the team name. So we've got the Goo Creatures. So essentially, I'll show the bracket in a little bit. We've got, but essentially the other team names are the Goo Creatures, the New York Triad, Patron Saints, Trophy Collectors. I'm gonna do a couple options. The Groglodites. And Mama's Boys. I'll just have to do one. Unfortunately, I'm limited to 5 options on Twitch for the poll. So I'm gonna do a little poll to ask you guys which team we cast next. And for now, I'm just gonna send it to a break as we wait for the teams to kind of finalize the first round of matches and see the results. And we'll be back in a bit. Unsure how long, but expect something like maybe a 10-minute break. I'll put a 10-minute timer. Give me 1 second. Let me get the professional timer going, and we'll be back in just a little bit. I just need to do the transition. Soon. Yeah, see you guys soon. Excited for more Deadlock. And 1 sec. So, all right, and we'll see you guys back in roughly 10 minutes. Bye bye.
do you see? Is it an ocean of color growing exponentially? What keeps me up through the nighttime, keeps me dreaming through the day? Is that the goddess of wisdom is only a block away? I wanna fly with the Jetsons, I wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, where you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, I wanna shoot past the stars. What's done is done. Oh, we'll live and die by the number 21, where energy is flowing through machines that are all knowing, and the lightning outshines the sun. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, and you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars with you. With you. 12 words in my head, only valuable unsaid. A phrase in my mind to better all mankind. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, where you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars with you. Oh, with you. Oh, with you. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars. Can't fight inevitability, even though it's killing me. Can't explain why some things just end. Can't say we didn't try to reach the other side. Started as lovers, but ended it as friends. And we can't go back again. Because we just share together in the night. Two ships sinking at the same time. You go down, I'm coming
Welcome back to Deathy's Death Slam V2 EU edition. I'm joined once again with Griffin, and we just witnessed the first game of the day with Press Some Buns against Poulet Free Kentucky, or in French, Poulet Free Kentucky. That's how we pronounce it. And anyhow, what was your impressions of that game?
It was bloody. I mean, within the first 4 or 5 minutes, we already had like 10, 12 kills. Constant fighting, constant big team fighting. There were a few skirmishes, a few like Moan Krill picks on the side, but mostly, just insane 5v5 team fights around Urn, around Base Guardians. Incredibly fast-paced game. Something much faster than I was expecting to see from like the state of the game currently.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have complained about like game length for so long, but I personally don't think game length is an issue anymore at all. If anything, it might be a little too fast at a high level. Like in my scrims, like games rarely go past 25 minutes or 30 minutes if it's a really close game. But if it's not a close game, like 25 minutes and it's over, or even 20 minutes, sometimes you just get one rejuve, like we said, you push it. But interesting draft, interesting plays, and we're always full of surprises. Ryan, DM'd me a couple things about what happened in that game. He's got his excuses or the reasonings or whatever. And apparently, they were smoking that team in scrims yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I saw from the chat. Apparently, they were quite dominant in the scrims. Or I saw a chatter mention that they were dominant in scrims only to flop at the major.
Yeah,
a common story in competitive. Yeah,
scrimbucks don't mean anything. And that's also another thing that we saw in NA. There was a team that was like undefeated in scrims, and then they got like kicked out round one. They got eliminated. So scrims don't always mean everything. Teams like hold back in scrims. Teams underperform, overperform, etc. So anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to go over the results of round one. So we've got a little spreadsheet. Let me just put it on the screen. So for round one, Groglodites versus Mama's Boys. Mama's Boys won that. Press Some Buns versus PFK is the one we saw. So, 1-0 for Press Some Buns. Goo Creatures defeated the New York Triad. And the Patron Saints versus Trophy Collectors. Trophy Collectors won. So I was actually told by Ryan that Patron Saints were one of the stronger teams as well. And so the next game that we're watching is the Patron Saints. Sorry, not the Patron Saints. It's the Goo Creatures versus the Trophy Collectors, I believe. And so we'll be watching that, and they should be ready to go with draft in a sec. I'm putting us back on the scene with the camera. Let me just give them the go ahead. You're free to start draft.
I think I'm kind of impressed. The game we talked about how the game was kind of fast paced. The one we watched on stream was the longest game, I believe.
Really?
Yes. Every single the next shortest game for Mama's Boys was an entire minute and a half shorter, with Trophy Collectors being the one to win fastest at 27 minutes. So, I mean, if we're seeing this pace and tempo of play, I'm excited to see how fast this next game plays, especially if the Patron Saints is one of the strongest teams, as Ryan mentioned. Maybe they're able to push back.
Yeah, but just to clarify, we're watching Trophy Collectors versus Goo Creatures, even though I confused us by saying Patron Saints. I'm the one that confused in the first place. So we're seeing Abrams pretty much permabanned in these games, it looks like, as he gets first banned again. I mean, this hero is very hard to deal with. As the meta has evolved, I'm not entirely sure that he's like permaban worthy, but he is incredibly annoying. We see Wraith being banned. So one thing, a lot of these teams, when I met them, they told me they didn't have a Wraith player. And so I think that might be the case for Goo Creatures. I can't remember exactly. But Wraith banned, Shiv first picked. I expect to see maybe a Warden in response. We'll see, but so far, like, not many surprises other than maybe the Wraith ban being a little rarer.
I think what this Abram pick provides for a lot of these teams is like a very consistent, easy way to contest mid boss, an easy way to ensure like some hard CC. Like I think on the side of Poulet for Kentucky, we saw before, right? I think Lasso was like the only form of like stun per se that could actually interrupt anything.
Yeah.
Like you had Warden Cage, but obviously
you had Lightning Scroll though.
Well, that's true. That is true. But not, for me at least, not consistent enough as a hard CC, when I want to point and click, stop someone from playing
I just feel like this Lightning Scroll, like, I do feel like we didn't get enough value from it last game, but in theory, like, I think part of the reason that we're seeing Mo and Krill also, like, lose value is, like, you know, these lightning scroll items, it's just, if you've got 1 or 2 lightning scrolls, it becomes very, very difficult for the Moon Curl to get his ult off without Unstoppable. Like, Unstoppable is almost mandatory. As I say that right away, we've got Warden, Kelvin, and then Paradox, Moon Curl.
That was an instant draft. Trophy collectors knows what they want. There might be, this looks like, Loki looks like a Hydronation draft. They look like they're studying up on how to push their lead.
Yeah, I mean, even Hydronation hasn't really been picking the Moon Curl much earlier, recently. And we did see them pick the Moon Curl in the recent fight night. And to little success, might I say.
Little success.
Yeah, the Moon Curl felt like it had like pretty much 0 value, and we've seen this hero like get completely ignored in the EU version of Fight Night, and even at NA in the finals, it pretty much got ignored too. And in a lot of our scrims, we haven't seen it get picked much either, which is why, controversially, I put Moon Curl as C tier in my tier list. And now, like, you know, a lot of people were asking me if it was rage bait. Okay, I don't think it's rage bait. I don't think. I don't think the hero's that good right now, despite having a lot of very annoying abilities. And we got the Holiday 3rd pick in response.
Yeah, I was talking to Lona, which is like, I would maybe consider the Moon Curl goat of North America. And I think he was on the consensus that Moon Curl is in a decent spot right now, especially with the new items, in that you kind of, his damage got completely gutted, but there's a lot of utility to be added. He turns into more of a utility pick character rather than like this Brawly getting your face. So I completely agree with you that I can understand why Moon Curl has been getting played, especially with the specifically in the North America Fight Night. I think what Lona and I were talking about was that there was little movement options on the Moon Curl, which especially at a pro level, a higher level of play is easily punishable. Here, I think that Moon Curl got a lot of value from Warpstone. Or just Warpstone into Phantom Strike. The Moon Curl we saw on Press and Buttons, I think, got a lot of really solid combos to lock down some kills. And I can imagine that it's relatively easy to pull off here, more so than the Fight Nights.
Yeah, for sure. I think Moon Curl is one of those heroes, kind of like Abrams, that technically the worse the skill level of the lobby is, the better of a hero he is, if that makes any sense. Like, he's easy to execute at a very, like, basic level. He's hard to master, for sure. But, like, his abilities are all very, like, point and click. You don't need to have crazy aim. You don't need to have crazy mechanical skill. You know, you can be, in your retirement home, 45 years old, and kind of press your buttons, and you should be fine.
Yeah. We see here, just going back to the draft, we see a Lash ban on the side of Trophy Collectors and an Ivy ban on Goo Creatures. So, once again, that Ivy ban following the Kelvin pick. Seeing some patterns here. I think the Lash ban's a little interesting. Lash is stronger, obviously, with the E shift nerfed, which was like kind of the main counter to Lash. And then now, I believe he takes really good items of the new, or he takes really good advantage of some of the new items.
Yeah.
Like Silence Wave. One thing I was kind of missing from last game was Scourge. I think one of the items I'm kind of looking forward to seeing in this game.
Scourge is quite strong. To be honest, it's a bit of a later game item, right? So in like a 30-minute game, you might not get to see it as much.
No, that's true.
You know, I guess we'll see kind of what happens. The Mirage 4th pick here, I like the idea. And once again, I mean, my teachings are shining through the draft as we see Ivy being banned when Kelvin is picked. 1 sec. I'm going to ask you to take over for 30 seconds. My cats are causing mayhem.
Got you. We see a Mirage pick on the side of Goo Creatures here. This is looking very reminiscent of our last draft. The one thing we're missing here is that we don't see that like Geist, Yamato, Prio. So I believe like the pick or the pressure on Geist and Yamato, obviously Geist was really strong on the initial item rework, then was hit with a lot of major targeted nerfs with the following hotfix. So, they pick Inferno. So I'm kind of interested to see where they're going to evaluate this Geist character. I'm also interested in seeing Calico, Pocket. Yeah. I think Vindicta is sleeper insane.
I think Vindicta's pretty good. I think the items are good for her. Like, Escalating Exposure is good. Decay is good. Like, debuff Vindicta essentially is kind of the way to play her. And, you can still go double shielding. And if you go, like, weapon shielding and spirit shielding, you are still fairly hard to kill. I don't think that she's, like, super high prio necessarily, because she definitely is weaker than before overall. In my opinion, at least. But, like, the debuff builds are still very strong. But debuff remover overall is also, like, kind of buffed in the sense it's only 3,200. But I think it's one of those... Debuff remover is one of those items where it's buffed, but at the same time, with limited slots, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't really want to buy it. But realistically, most people should have debuff remover almost every game because the item is just too good.
That's the exact same analysis I had. especially with now that you don't really have, depending on the character you play, you don't have a dedicated vitality slot, and also like some of the characters are more act. I think there's a lot more, especially if you go for like a fleet foot spellslinger combo. A lot of characters are slotting in more actives than they did before.
Yeah,
Depending on if they have slots for debuff remover. We see
that's
a Dynamo
true.
pick
Wait,
here.
Yamato
So
is 7. Dynamo. Okay. I mean, I like the 7 in response. I think that the responses from Goo Creatures, I think that this Dynamo is actually like fairly well like handled on the side of Goo Creatures, especially if we're seeing some lightning trolls. I'm assuming this is looking like an old 7 from the picks that they have.
Yes.
Because it's too greedy if you do like a carry 7, right? Like you have to play old 7 here. It has to be like a, you know, position like 4 type 7 where you don't get a lot of farm priority, because your Mirage, Yamato, and Warden already want farm. So getting a 4th hero that wants a lot of farm is definitely like risky. But if this 7 gets unstoppable in these fights, if you get unstoppable lightning troll, then the Dynamo is going to be really hard for Dynamo to get a black hole unless you have unstoppable yourself.
And as we mentioned before, that lightning scroll also affects that Mo and Krill. So they're kind of hitting 2 birds, 1 stone, and a Viper last pick to finish it off. This is surprisingly, I think,
No
very
guys.
similar, but also insanely different. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. No Geist. We're choosing Infernus and like Yamato and 7 over Geist. Could obviously be a hero pool thing. I could see Goo Creatures maybe valuing Yamato Kelvin, but at the same time, Geist Kelvin I think kind of provides the same value.
Well, I mean, honestly, Goo Creatures, like, I kind of understand them not picking Geist, if I'm being honest, because I think that they have kind of what they want. Like, Warden and Yamato fit their front line kind of here, right? They've got the Kelvin for the reset. I think that their draft is fairly sound, and also Geist is not, like, particularly good against any of the trophy collectors heroes. Like, Shiv handles swap with Bloodletting, Paradox has a silence with her wall. Mo and Krill can also like lock down the Geist. Like Dynamo can also lock her down. But for trophy collectors, I think Geist would have been good because the swap is really good against Warden. It's really good against Yamato. And so just for those 2 heroes, like it would have been fairly decent.
Wholeheartedly agree.
All
I'm
right.
interested to see here on trophy collectors how they choose to play for side laners, because on the side of Goo Creatures, at least we have the Mirage. And we even have like Yamato and 7 who can also kind of fulfill that side pressure role. I'm kind of interested to see how they would play around forcing big team fights on Urn versus, you know, putting pressure on sidewalkers.
Yeah, so one thing that, you know, people, even in NA at this point, especially like melee creeps and a lot of the EU teams have gotten really good at, is forcing, you know, the specific timings with certain heroes or certain items. For example, we saw the infamous, you know, Pachi Pop, like unstoppable rush on 7. And while, you know, that might not have been necessarily the most optimal thing, the logic is pretty sound. And it's at the end of the day, a lot of these teams are trying to hit these timings around the first Urn and be like, hey, you know, I need to be really strong for this first Urn. I need to hit this timing. And then we can force this fight and get ahead, right? And so in these games, we've seen the Urns have been kind of all over the place. I don't think they've been nearly as organized fights around the Urn. But if there is an organized fight around the Urn, I would say most of the time I would favor the Goo Creatures lineup here. You know, with the 7 ultimate, the Warden ultimate, I feel like their team fight is going to be really, really difficult to deal with. And I think that this game is going to be like fairly dependent on the Shiv and Dynamo from the side of trophy collectors. Like if they get big value from Shiv and Dynamo, I think they can win this game. But otherwise, I think it might be a bit hard from a draft perspective.
I wholeheartedly agree. I'm interested to see what type of I mean, I think I've only realistically seen just like a generic on hit or just like a generic gun damage Infernus be played in most recent times. I don't think I've seen much like dash Infernus. I know there was like a Torment Pulse Catalyst abusing variant before.
Yeah.
Take the game.
I don't really think you're going to see a Torment Pulse. I think you're going to see probably one of 2 things. What's been most popular is like maxing your Afterburn recently.
Yep.
I also think that in this game specifically, like the Toxic Bullets and Afterburn max version is kind of better because you're playing against 7, you're playing against Warden, you're playing against Kelvin, Yamato, like a lot of heal. You kind of need that heal cut, and nobody else on your team is really going to build Toxic Bullets, so I think you kind of need to be the one to take up the mantle. All right.
Also the lobby as well with Spirit Burn.
Yeah.
Do we even have a Spirit Burn last game? Ooh, I don't think we did.
Don't think we did. I'm starting the game because the teams are ready.
Yep.
But yeah, we didn't have a Spirit Burn. We didn't make it that, late enough. Like, with the games ending earlier, like I said, a lot of this anti-heal, it's, with the game pace being a little faster, it's just harder to get to these anti-heal items, which I personally think from a balance perspective makes more sense. I don't think that you should be able to, like, just have a ton of anti-heal early. What's going on? EU pause. But anyhow, interested to see how these lanes go. It looks like I'll go over the roster for Amber, and then I'll let you go over Sapphire. But on the side of Ember, we've got Benjamin G, or we'll just call him Ben, on the Viper. We've got Shorn on the Moan Krill, Wololo on the Infernus, Funex, I want to say, on the Paradox, MK51, and Cytrox on the Shiv.
On the side of Sapphire, we have Puliter on the Holiday, Eb, or Ebe, I'm gonna go Eb.
Yeah.
On Warden, Imp on 7, Hunek on the Mirage, TPDK on... I'm trying to think if that's... I'm just gonna go with the acronym. TPDK on Yamato, and then Sheldon on the Kelvin here.
Yeah.
Once again, let's talk lanes.
Go for it.
Interested? Oh, wait, it looks like there's already a fight. Whoa, already a attack pause. Look, if you like to look at the Viper's position here.
Yeah, I was on the Viper cam as this was happening, so I saw it all happen, and then the pause. Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah. Is there light punch? Is there punch thrown?
There's the stun. This Viper is in trouble.
Already down to under 100 HP.
It's okay though. Yeah, this is just like a healing right angle. You go healing right, you're gonna go healing Nova anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So we'll see. The Viper kind of just needs to survive for a little bit. Be like, all right, 7, can you last it for me? Or sorry, not 7, Infernus.
Infernus,
yeah, 7's on the enemy team.
Once again, we have to look out for your classic Heal Nova, Enchanter's Emblem, Cultist Sack.
Yeah.
And you'll see how many of those you can get the count going.
No, Viper's just resetting. Paradox looking like she took some damage in the mid lane. Also got a healing right. We've got a fair amount of healing rights as starting items here, so I think it's fair to say. Well, interestingly, the left team has all bought. The right team has not bought at all. No items.
So I don't think the right team needs items. You can see the Paradox
clearly
only to be entirely chunked.
I mean, this Holiday Yamato lane, it will be difficult to play into. I think, you kind of need your Moan Krill to take some presence, but your Moan Krill is also like 1 HP, so not ideal. Moan Krill going headshot booster, a little bit old meta, I think. I think if you just go healing Nova, you kind of like win the trades more often than not, but...
We have one item. We have one item on the side of good creatures. We have a healing right on the Warden. That's
actually crazy that they've only bought one item. That's actually insane. Like...
I think the mid lane is going to buy now. We're going to see some items from Holiday and Yamato. But, they're putting up pressure. I mean, all 3 lanes looking pretty aggressive here.
Yeah. Just one thing to note is that the team on the side of Good Creatures is using the in-game comm strategy. So I just need to mute everyone in the lobby real quick so that I can spectate them.
Yeah, I was really confused when we were loading in when I was here.
Yeah. So a quick little anecdote as we're watching these lanes unfold. But so in the North American version, there was a few teams that used in-game comms, but one team in particular, the Psycho Warriors. And essentially, what I did is I pressed escape, and then I clicked on this voice and text chat, and I clicked on disable. And so I thought it was just for me, but actually it disables it for everyone in the lobby. And so I was like, why is it being re-enabled? And then it kept being re-enabled, and I was like, oh, this is really weird, and I kept disabling it. And we see First Blood go to Kelvin, but like essentially I was just completely griefing their laning stage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it looked like the Infernus and Viper were winning the trade there, and then what happened was 7 just put a stun on the Viper and just started swinging for the fences, and Viper unfortunately parried a little too early and just got heavy punched twice and just lost the entire T-bar.
Yeah, I'm watching the right lane
sad.
right now.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We're
But not...
How
many healing rights are we at?
Yeah. 4 Heal Novas and a healing right on the side of Trophy Collectors and on the side of Goo Creatures.
Wait, another trade. This left lane, I mean, I need to be on this left lane, clearly. This is where all the trades are happening, and the Viper's already 1 and 2, but perhaps if the Viper went healing Nova as well, you know, they wouldn't have died. I guess we'll see some other trades. I mean, right now this is the ultimate timings. I'm gonna look in the Paradox. Right away there's a swap onto Holiday. Holiday goes down. Thank God I said W camera right there. Gotta look at the ult timings.
You might just have professional macro skills.
Yeah. It's like
Honestly,
oh wow, the Paradox got ult. She's gonna go for a swap. Crazy.
The right lane here, I'm mainly looking for the Dynamo Black Hole, because to be honest, right, we have Dynamo with the Rejuvenating Aurora Steel Nova, and then on the other side, we have like Mirage, who has Mystic Regen. So like, I'm not expecting anything to happen on that side. Dynamo has Black Hole timing. Mirage is caught out.
Dynamo's trying to go. He's trying to catch up with his
there.
little feet.
Is
He can't, bro. He's too slow. He's too
they're
slow.
going for the dive. They're going for the dive. They're going, maybe?
Wait, interrupt the ult! Oh! No, the Shiv backed up.
Is the Shiv not very high rage? Yeah, he's like half rage. Still going for
Oh,
the
the
fight
Shiv
here.
got a little scared.
The Dynamo got caged and was taken down.
Yeah, I mean,
Shiv's sitting on 2200 here, so. in terms of
yeah,
items, at least,
Shiv has a
is not
bunch of
super
money,
strong.
and yeah, it's just unfortunate. He might be rushing Headhunter. It's kind of unclear, potentially.
What are your opinions on the new Headhunter, or Headhunter strength after the new changes, now that they added scaling and basically nerfed its like first item rush?
Yeah, I mean the scaling is
it's
terrible.
level?
Like the scaling is essentially like completely irrelevant for most heroes that want to buy it. In the sense that it takes you like a ridiculous amount of spirit to like get it back to its old strength. Like I think
We're
it's
looking
like
at a 7 ultimate here on the left side.
okay, wait.
wanna-
Let me look at the 7. Yeah. Oh, never mind. It's over.
First was
I
getting
missed
choked,
it.
but looks like it's out.
But they're gonna get the tower though, so it's still important.
Yeah.
But as far as Headhunter goes, I think it's still a decent item, but we'll see how it goes.
If you want to look, oh, I think Infernus is dead here. He stepped up too far. If you look at Imp's items, he built, oh my god, I didn't realize they changed the name. The compressed cooldown
Compress cooldown.
on his
Yep.
ultimate already. So, we could technically,
Yes.
your prediction was correct. Ult 7 looking to just apply pressure here. Basically be like ultimate, or like ultimate bebop before, just like, you know, probably walking around waiting for his ultimate timings to go take down all the towers.
Yeah, AP slightly different from what you'd expect, in the sense that most of the time with this build, you'd expect 1 point power surge instead of 1 point lightning ball.
Agree.
But the rest is, you know, roughly the same. Kind of look at this Warden though, who just popped his ult. Nothing happening though. Shiv going in to execute.
Ooh! Barely missed
And he
it,
gets
but it
taken
doesn't matter,
down.
it's still at the end.
As Paradox goes down as well, and we've got a lot of trades happening left and right. Much more even of an early game than we saw last game.
Yes. There's currently 3 on the Mo and Crow right now, but Mo and Crow's just hiding in the ground. Gets out cleanly. There are 3 mid though. Viper comes back, but still. No lasso, so I guess there's not an entire amount of pressure here on the mid lane, but it's kind of interesting to see this
Yeah,
commitment.
Paradox coming back with swap. Looking for it on the Kelvin. Nade. Hits the swap onto the Yamato. The Yamato kind of Yamato lagging out
Yamato
or
AFK?
something.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Mo and Crow hit a combo, but
Yamato.
unfortunately no follow-up.
Yamato kind of looking like some issues are happening right now. I don't think it's a DC because of the way that she was moving there. It could be some sort of like, so I've got a couple theories, right? One could be wife aggro. 2, it
Okay.
could be like some sort of like pet situation, right? Like perhaps you know, a cat or something going on. It could be, oh shit, I just spilled my coffee. Could be another one. Because if you look at the way that she moved, yeah, that's true. Could be on call. I mean, we don't know. These players have probably jobs, or yeah, could be on a work call. We don't know. But the way that she moved, it wasn't in a, like if it was a bot, if it was DC, a bot would have taken over and she would have started like running back to base, right? But she was running in a straight line and then moved to the right without moving her crosshair, which to me signals that it's like you had one hand, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm analyzing this very deeply. Let's look at the items. Cultist sack on the 7. I mean, this 7 has like insane start. 7.4k net worth already.
Yeah,
like, not what you want to see. We did get the Headhunter rush on the Shiv. Oh, we're just going. We are going.
I mean, the Shiv build, I like it a lot. I think it might be like a patch outdated. I'm not entirely too sure about. Headhunter is obviously one of the best Shiv items still, I think. I don't know.
It's
if
good.
like
It's good.
rushable.
I mean, you can rush it. It's still rushable. It's just the worst. But Shiv's gonna be standing on top of the Sinner Sacrifice. Maybe he's gonna look to steal that right away. I like this. I mean, I think his Dynamo should be with him though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just gonna yoink it. See ya. What's going on mid here? Bit of a fight here. Yamato pops ult. Yeah, goes in through the wall. 1 HP. Paradox looking for the swap. Misses the swap close range. I'm actually really surprised it didn't connect. Yamato 1 HP. Gonna go down to the Viper. Probably will get traded. Yeah, as we get a 1-for-1. Viper still getting chased here, but should be able to slither away to safety. Barrel not quite doing the job.
That did damage. I didn't know if Holiday did not have crack shop open, so probably no kill potential there, but that barrel was so much damage. He did miss the burst.
Yeah, like it's like 270 damage or something, right? With the burst.
Yep. I'm checking cultists. We have 0 cultists, 0 cultist sacrifices on the side. Oh, actually, sorry.
Look at the 7's net worth.
Oh my god.
This guy's got 10k.
He has Superior cooldown. He has Superior cooldown, cultist sacrifice. This might be the dream.
Mystic Emblem.
Enchanter's Emblem relatively soon, maybe?
He just got Hyperline as Infernus is going in. Ultimate onto the 7. Parries the tower. Swap. Beautiful execution. 7 counters with the ult, though. And he's so fed. He has max ult already. He just one-shots them. Nah.
I mean...
That was crazy.
Comparative to last game, the lead is relatively even. It's only 4k, right? So you're not even in pity earn range as the earn buffs are coming up in 30 seconds. But, like, in terms of pressure, this feels so oppressive. Feels so detrimental to, like, any type of action that Trophy Collectors wants to take here.
100% agree. I mean, how are you going to deal with this Ultimate 7? He's got max ult already, 12k net worth. I don't think you have any fantastic answers. I mean, the moment that he gets unstoppable, what do you do? However, here's the saving grace. The 7 is being greedy. He's going for Lightning Stroll first, potentially, or at least he's buying more utility items before the Unstoppable Rush. Now, I don't personally love it because you do have a few answers on the side of Trophy Collectors, right? You've got the Viper ult, you've got the Moen Crow ultimate, the Black Hole. You have a few ways to stop it. So if you don't have Unstoppable, you might not be able to get it off. Wait, look at the Viper.
He's also getting a little aggressive. He pushed for 1 wave and is getting promptly punished for it.
On the other side of the map, Warden gets executed, so 2 people going down for the side of Trophy Collectors. And as you said, the lead is not quite as big, and those 2 kills matter a lot. I'm assuming we're going to see this transition into a Guardian here, and after that, it should pretty much be a fully even game.
You know, we saw earlier that Viper and the Infernus had like a relatively difficult laning phase. But Wololo here is coming back, carries the tower. Not sure if he's able to take it against the 7 here, who has a full back up, but I think
probably not.
In terms of the timings and carries hitting their power spikes, Trophy Collectors isn't too far behind, and definitely the Infernus can still find time to scale. And especially with he has maxed Afterburn already, so I mean Infernus is a counter to 7 with the minus 25% spirit damage. Definitely an important factor to consider in terms of how to neuter the 7 from just running over the lobby.
Yeah, and just a quick little comment as well. I've heard some people in YouTube chat say that you're a little quiet, so I turned you up on Discord. No, you don't have to do anything. Just in chat, guys, let us know if there's any audio issues. You know, I'm more than happy to do some adjustments. So let me know if Griff is quiet or not. I turned him up now, so it should be a lot better. So sorry about that. As we see both teams posturing for the urn, Viper left alone to kind of split push mid here, so she's gonna get the Guardian. Kelvin trying to
looking for the ultimate.
Okay.
Oh, and this Moen Krill is getting fried.
Oh my god, this 7 ult hits too strong. Oh, there's... Yeah, I mean, this is kind of exactly what I envisioned for the side of Goo Creatures, right? Their team fight is so strong that, like, how do you contest their urn fights with the 7 ult?
Mirage ended up TPing to this urn fight, which meant he was matching the Infernus in the left lane, ended up TPing to the urn fight, leaving the left lane alone here. So, at least on the side of Trophy Collector, they're able to secure a flex slot. 7 does get it back in time to catch the wave, though, securing at least like 500, 600 souls there from that wave. 16k at 12 minutes. I mean, this is scary. This is oppressive.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned a great question. How many Trophy Collectors does the side of Trophy Collectors have? And the answer to that is 0.
0. Yeah.
However, they do have a knockdown on Dynamo. So here's the question. Is this 7 going to greed? Or is this 7 going to build Unstoppable next? Because if you don't get Unstoppable next, you're going to get knocked down.
He's greeding because he put 2 points in his 3. And I believe if he was like fully committing to this, like as you said, this pause for Ultimate 7 type of build, right?
Yeah.
I would have seen a lot more. I would have expected more points in 2, like rushing the max ultimate, or sorry, max stun, getting I think it's like a 1.8 second stun. If you add duration onto that, if you get improved duration, it goes up to like 2.5 second stun AOE. Puts a huge value, but instead he decided to put points in 3. He's hitting all the tier 3s while his team is fighting. So might be power like I'm looking at the term.
Big fight happening in the valley here. Dynamo might be looking for a black hole here. There's a lot of people very concentrated. I don't know if they have the DPS, even if he lands one, though, so he's being a little more defensive, as it looks like they're going to try to just reset here. And a lasso onto the Dynamo. I think he should be dead as well. Does not quite manage to connect with the Quantum Entanglement, and we've got a huge lead already for the side of Group Creatures, being up 10k, as there's a 1v1 happening on the side lane between Mirage and Shiv.
Shiv is running for his life. One thing to note is we're seeing a little bit of difference here in choice of Dynamo builds here. MK51 going for, I think, a more traditional supportive Dynamo build with the Max Aurora. We don't see the cooldown rush, the duration rush. So we were talking about the Dynamo comeback mechanics, but this build isn't entirely supportive of that, right? We're not playing for, refresher rush, I believe. We're not playing for big Dynamo ultimate winning earned team fights. So
yeah,
interesting to see when this Dynamo will decide to invest in those items, when this Dynamo will go for that possibility.
Yeah, Viper getting chased down and, down into whatever you want to call this, the sewers or the tunnel, the underground, and looking to escape with her life as she's on 300 HP. Warden ult with the counter engage here. Oh, sorry, not the counter engage. It's actually the same team. I got it confused a little
Wait,
bit.
she goes back in.
Yeah, what the?
Viper's a little lost here.
Unfortunate.
A bit unfortunate. Took a wrong
2v1
turn.
on the side lane though, yeah. Mirage is getting kind of gone on, gets swapped. Should go down here, surely. Yeah.
Yep.
This will be comeback rune as well, who will be picked up from the side of trophy collectors. So this is one thing that happens very often in these games, is one team gets a lead, the other team gets the comeback rune, and these teams are not quite practiced enough to the point where they're going to be on top of the comeback rune, right, and not letting the other team pick it up. And if you let the other team pick it up, it's hard to prevent them from turning it in.
Yes. Interesting, just when we were talking power spikes before, it looks like the 7 and the Kelvin are looking to contest the urn. Infernus gets caught out here. He pops ultimate.
7 does have Unstoppable for this fight, by the way. So if they go for this, this could be a massive 7 ult, as he pops ult without popping Unstoppable, though. So, and he's also kind of in the roof. I would say that this was a little hasty. Wait, Dynamo ult into the Kelvin Dome, kind of blocking off his own 7 ult, and not quite as much value as you'd like to see from the 7 ult. Interesting to see how this fight will play out. Shiv goes in, executes onto the Kelvin. 7 looking to do as much damage as he possibly can, but most of his abilities are running out, and he doesn't have Unstoppable anymore. Viper in the backline probably will be going down here, as the urn still hasn't been turned in.
The 7 has max ultimate, is just executing, killing blow after killing blow. Yamato is here with ultimate, but Yamato's only like 14k, not as strong as the 7 here. Paradox goes down. This Shiv is still full HP, ultimate's still up. We're looking at a gun Shiv here actually with point blank.
Yeah. Not that surprised. Gun Shiv has been kind of the recent thing. Point blank, a little surprising, but not crazy, right? Usually you see more like a K-dash, like opening wounds or opening rounds or whatever it's called. Let me open the shop. It's called opening rounds, yeah. So, I think that was a huge fight for the side of trophy collectors. Like they were down 10 to 12k, and now they're even.
Yeah. I believe they kept the urn as well.
Yeah, they did. Dynamo got it.
Two losses
yeah.
in the team fight. Nice.
Yeah, I was watching Dynamo. He got the urn, made sure to secure it, and that was, I would say in general, that was just a little hasty on the 7 ult. Like I think he ulted a little too early, didn't wait for them to be committed, so they were able to kite it easily. And once they kited the 7 ult, he also used his 3, and once those abilities are gone, I mean, he's kind of useless.
Yeah. Looking at items here, Dynamo is sitting at 6,800 or 6,800. I meant to say that for clarity. So we're interested to see if he rushes refresher. Nope, he goes for the rescue beam. So he's going very supportive here.
Yeah.
No Kenemas today.
Rescue beam, healing booster, makes sense. I mean, I think with the game being even here, you don't necessarily need to rely on huge black holes to win these team fights. I think that the key to victory in these team fights for the side of trophy collectors is going to be kiting the 7 ult. you kind of want to try to see if you can bait it out. Like with Unstoppable, the first, 5 or 6 seconds are kind of a wash. Like you can't really do anything. But past that, you've got Knockdown, you've got Viper Ult, you have answers. So if you just manage to kite out the first few seconds, and then, you cast Knockdown, you Viper Ult him, whatever it is you need to do, I think the fight should go fine. It is Ult Warden as well, it looks like, by the way.
Yeah.
Warden just got Lightning Scroll.
Holiday also built Veil Walker. I don't think we saw that last game. I think one of the stronger items on Holiday, especially with, not only is Lasso an incredibly scary ability, but now you have an invisible Lasso potentially running at you. Kelvin going for Max Beam. Different from the build we saw before, with the full active nade support Kelvin from the back.
Yeah.
Interesting to see different players cater their different play styles to what they're looking for in these team fights, especially.
Yeah, and talking about individual player performance, I mean, Cytrox on the Shiv here, 6-0, only person to have not died in the server yet, and he's got debuff remover, 6 green items, and Berserker
I like his
point
build.
blank. Like, he's going to be really hard to kill. I will say, however, most of the enemy team is spirit damage, right? So
Yes.
if he really wants to be unkillable, he's going to need to build some spirit resist. I don't think it would be crazy to see like spirit resilience next. I think fortitude will also be a decent option depending on, which route he wants to go.
I'm really hoping to see here, I guess, especially on Furnace here, who's sitting at 6,000. I really want to see, not sure if it's correct, but I really like either an early Spirit Burn or an early Inhibitor. I think Inhibitor is honestly one of the stronger items because it kind of didn't get nerfed as much as other items with the rework. And now that it provides healing reduction innate, along with the damage reduction, you kind of have like a double wombo on countering the lifesteal that people can get from 7 Ultimate, from Gordon Ultimate, from like Yamato's Crimson Slashy especially.
Shiv's execute barely doesn't connect, doesn't quite manage to finish off the Yamato, but Yamato does end up going down anyway. And once again, the trophy collectors, the team that were more ready for the urn there, they were all just waiting for the spawn as the side of goo creatures had 3 people on the other side of the map, not quite ready for the urn pickup. And trophy collectors go for the nice swap, good initiation from Funx, and now they're going to be able to just run the urn across as Dynamo is just sprinting it, by the way. He does not care at all.
You were talking greed on the 7 before. 7 has max power surge, and just to talk like net worth a bit, the TPGK on Yamato has been doing insane work. I might have to like lock it here. I'll finish my sentence later after the Stern fight.
Yeah, swap Warden ult as the counter initiation. We're going to look on the 7 here. Can he get a big ult? It's hitting 3. Kuneg goes down first. Knockdown on the 7. Perfect timing on the knockdown. Wow. That was well played.
Wait, but the urn. They forgot about the urn. Oh, wait. They
didn't forget. It's merely a small setback, right? Lasso does not quite connect. Black hole onto the 7. I mean, that's really all you need to do.
Holiday as well.
Yeah. And, the Kelvin ult a little bit too late. Inferno's going to pick up the urn, try to see if he can turn it in. Looks like he's going to be able to get it.
On the other side, they just... Unfortunately for group creatures, they just lost, I think, a 5v6 on their own urn. Or they just lost a 5v6 down tempo. Dynamo was just right to run the urn in. Trophy collectors...
Viper does not connect on the ult, but should be able to get this Walker anyway, right? Yep. As the
Blood Tribute.
Yeah, Blood Tribute. Unfortunately, Viper is going to get beat down. Yep.
Yep.
Goes down. Blood Tribute is interesting. Not an item you see often. I do fundamentally believe that this item is just like underbought, though. Like, if you look at the stats that it gives, it is pretty crazy. 50% debuff resist for the small price of 3,200, as well as move speed and fire rate. These are all great stats for any M1s, and I think, Viper, one of Viper's greatest weaknesses is kind of getting CC'd, because she has a lot of resist once you have your max 3, which a lot of people here are maxing 2. I do think you should probably put some points in the 3 as well, because the resist is pretty crazy.
Totally agree. One thing with the resist, though, is that it only applies while sliding, so in the context of Lasso, 7 stun, or Tornado, right? That resist does get shut off. That could be a real concern for the Viper, but obviously a little bit of player preference, I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Infernus bought Ricochet here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, at the end of the day, like, in these games, one thing I told the players is being optimal is not necessarily the most important thing. What's the most important is, being comfortable and playing to your strengths, right? This is not pro play. This is amateur play.
So a lot of 6Ks coming out. People are hitting their tempo power spikes. Infernus bought Ricochet first, and then also Max Dash. I personally prefer, especially if you're going to go for this aggressive ricochet inhibitor, getting that the catalyst effect. We were talking earlier. Anti-heal is harder to come by, so the max catalyst, applying a negative 33% healing reduction, as well as a 40% damage amp, is just a lot of value.
Wait, Viper initiates with the ultimate onto the Mirage. Mirage tries to tornado out as the Kelvin is there with the counter initiation. Domes does not connect. Dynamo doesn't have Black Hole yet, and it looks like both teams are just going to reset from this. Shiv is alone, though, in a 1 versus 2. 31k net worth, raid boss versus 2 people. Who wins?
Shiv bought Leech here.
Okay, Shiv's just out. He's just out. He's gone.
That's the good movement.
Yeah.
He
bought
Shiv.
Spirit Resilience, too.
Yep.
I mean, this Shiv player, I'm very impressed by what I'm seeing. He's doing a great job. Itemization is good. I think Leech is also good in this specific instance because he's kind of raid boss. He's doing a lot of damage, and so it's going to be very difficult for the enemy team Goo Creatures to kill him.
Do you have any thoughts on like Leech versus Vampiric Burst here, especially in this gun-focused Shiv? I think both are good. I'm not entirely sure which one I would prefer in this instance because I could see these fights are going on for quite a long time, and Vampiric Burst obviously.
The biggest advantage with Leech, in my opinion, is the fact that even though you do get a lot of healing off of Van Burst, Shiv still does a lot of spear damage, especially with his execute. So if you don't know, you can his execute can easily do 1,000 damage per kill, and you do heal off of that with Leech, right? So if you think about it, it's a lot of health that you're missing out if you have Van Burst. And also, Shiv is a very he likes to be in fights for a long time, right? And Van Burst, it says it in the name, it's more of a burst item. And so I think in general, Leech is on average better, as teams are ready for the urn. Mirage is in the back line here.
Yep. This Mirage is posting up, even though he is 0-3 and 8. I feel like he's been so oppressive, and he got gone on before and stood his ground, and now he's just tornadoing it, no fear. Warden casting ultimate here with Lightning Scroll. Looks like nothing's happening. Kelvin does pick up Urn, so they dedicated 6 people to get the space to pick up Urn. Unfortunately, Viper's just pushing the left lane. Could potentially push for the flex slot on the Guardians here. Backs away. Viper building with interesting builds here, building Silence Wave into Superior Duration. Maybe as a direct counter to the 7 here, the 7 Yamato, looking for more pick potential.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is interesting for sure. I think that this is Silence Wave is a really good item, and I don't think that this is necessarily a mistake. It kind of looks like on the side of trophy collectors, they don't really care too much about this turn, and they're doing a really good job spreading resources across the map. I think they might still be able to stop this turn-in while also pushing 2 walkers. If they succeed, this is incredibly greedy, but this is a huge play if they succeed. As the Viper here,
Viper is going deep here for the mid walk. You can see him. He's toggling Blood Tribute every reload. He is optimized. He is practiced.
He's ready, but they do get the urn, however, so the side of trophy collectors perhaps biting off a bit more than they can chew, as they get 1 walker, but they trade it for the urn, and I would say that that's not really worth it at this stage of the game.
I fear the Shiv might be taking his first death of the game. Gets caught out with 7 stun, no Diva for mover. Oh, rescued him by the Dynamo. Is there a Quantum to follow up? Unfortunately,
not quite.
There's flowing hits on Dynamo.
Yeah, and this is absolutely huge for the side of Goo Creatures here, as they'll be able to get a walker, and I would say that this should be mid boss.
I agree. Dynamo still has ultimate up, but Kelvin has Dome, Yamato has ultimate. So
and you've got Unstoppable on 7 as well.
Oh, true. Oh,
it doesn't look like they're going mid boss though, unfortunately.
You're talking greed. The 7 is 35k at 27 minutes.
Yep, he's definitely...
Post-game, we might need to see Souls by Source. I might just say this guy might be hitting every single tier 3 camp on the map.
yeah. He's definitely farming quite a bit. And I think it's okay. I know before the game I spoke about him playing a pause 4. We do see them... Okay, I saw them around mid. I thought they were doing mid, but no, they're not doing mid, unfortunately. But I think if you have such a good start... one part of Deadlock is being flexible, right? And if one of your heroes has such a good start, I think it's fine to be okay, our 7 has 11k at 9 minutes, so let's just let him carry this one.
I agree. We've seen the Souls kind of swing here, because obviously Goo Creature started off really strong with the 7, but then Trophy Collectors brought it back and had an 8k lead. I think at 130k to 122k, if I remember correctly. But now we're seeing kind of a balance with a slight lead towards Goo Creatures. So definitely a more tense game. Already longer than Trophy Collector's first game. And I don't see this ending anytime soon. We still have 3 walkers up. No patrons have been downed, so we could be.
I
in
think
for a long
we're still at least like 2 or 3 fights away from the game ending. I mean, once again, like Rejuve does end these games pretty quickly, right? So I think it's gonna be like one fight. Whoever wins the next fight should get mid boss. I really do believe that the side of Goo Creatures should have gotten mid boss, and that would have helped them a lot, but they didn't quite capitalize on it. Both teams posturing towards the right side though, and we'll see if an engage comes out of this.
Oh, Mokro finds the combo on the Yamato. Oh, good curse. Curse on the side of Kelvin to cancel the Yamato, or to cancel the Bone Krill combo.
Yeah. 2 kills already right away going for the side of Goo Creatures, as this team fight looks to be very convincingly going in their favor. 7 goes onto the Shiv, 3 down for the side of Goo Creatures as 7 is chasing into the base. And now this time, if it's not mid-boss, I'd be very, very, very surprised, as Infernus goes down as well.
They could also look to take the mid walker first before going.
I think they can do both, probably.
I agree.
They should be.
Do both. Yamato gets caught out by the walker slam. 1 HP gets executed.
Perhaps a little bit of an overextension behind the walker here. I mean, this Shiv is still hard to kill, right? And you do want to be careful. You don't want to give up too many kills. If you give up a couple kills, like the mid-boss could be significantly harder. Now, the Shiv is kind of looking to go in here. I think this might be a little crazy. But the enemy team is also kind of scared of him, so they just kind of back up.
Looking for the mid-boss here, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the side of the itemization here, on the side of Goo Creatures is really interesting, or really cool actually. Holiday and Kelvin both bought Curse, so that's kind of alleviating their like hard CC problem we were talking about earlier, right? They canceled Bone Krill ult there crucially with Curse to allow the Yamato to ult and like stay alive for longer. They have 2 lightning scrolls as well on the 7 of Warden.
Well, Shiv is going a little crazy here. I don't know about this one, but he debuff removes. He might try to steal it. He gets lassoed, unfortunately, and well. Unfortunately, he does not quite manage to get it. Valiant effort by him. I think he just really he was like, all right, well, if they get Rejuve, we're in a really bad spot. And he's not wrong about that. If they get Rejuve, it is not a good position to be in. But that steal was a bit ambitious.
Agree. Looking at how Trophy Collector is trying to itemize respond here, the Moan Krill bought Phantom Strike a while back, and I think it's been getting value out of that, but I'm interested to see if Moan Krill here, with not a lot of money, would look to invest into Unstoppable, right? As that's getting kind of one of the main reasons he's getting shut down. Infernus here bought Infuser. A good item here to keep him alive. I personally would have still preferred Inhibitor, especially if we're going for the Ricochet idea. I think Inhibitor, maybe even Silencer, could be a very strong answer. But obviously, as this game goes on longer, I think Goo Creatures is still favored in terms of like late game compositions.
I think the Goo Creatures team fight is incredibly strong. As we see the Moan Krill grab here, will we see a Curse to interrupt it? Paradox goes to swap onto the Mirage. Curse as well. Black Hole connects onto 2. Curse to interrupt it as well. 7 ult to counter initiate, but the Kelvin Dome, a little bit of a counter synergy as the Warden ult is going in. Lasso connects onto, and we're going to see 2 kills going for the side of Goo Creatures right away as they take down the Walker as well and prevent the Urn from going in.
Unfortunately, that entire fight happened while Shiv was still respawning with like single digits on his respawn timer. Unfortunately, the highest net worth character on their team, Shiv, which is not in the fight, and without Shiv, the 5v6 kind of just falls apart.
Yeah, and now it's a 40k lead.
Escalating for 7. I think 7 just spent like 10k.
That's very possible. And we said that this game was not anywhere close to ending, but I think that we're seeing very dire straits here for the side of Goo Creatures, and once again just proving that if you just win one fight with Rejuve, you can pretty much end the game. And we'll see if they're able to end the game here. They don't have 7 ult, they don't have Warden ult, so most likely we'll see them down and back away here, which would be the correct play, and that is what they will do.
Even with Rejuve, you don't want to just randomly feed like 5 or 6 kills worth of comeback gold, especially because each kill would be like 800 gold for taps for like 4,000, 5,000 total.
Yeah, the Holiday's being a bit greedy here, staying around farming the tier 3 camp, but it looks like she'll get away with it. Interestingly, we see a Diviner's Kevlar on the Holiday, not something you see every day. In fact, it's not really something I've ever seen recently.
There's an interesting amount of synergy here, though, because he has Curse as well, so it aids Curse like duration as well as Lasso.
That's true.
So
I mean, I don't think it's a bad item. Like, it gives you duration. 1,000 barrier is good too, and like this Holiday, she gets a Lasso, she's gonna be really hard to kill. So I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just uncommon.
Agreed. Warden bought Unstoppable here as well, so 2 Unstoppables plus max Mirage ult on the side of goo creatures.
Yeah,
So.
Warden has Unstoppable, Spirit Resilience, Spell Slinger. I mean, I don't really see how you kill this guy. And he's got like Lightning Scroll on his ult as well, so he's just gonna go in with his ult. Okay, so if you're the side of goo creatures, I think realistically all you do is you just like group up and you go for one last push while you still have rejuve here. I think your team fight is so strong. If you just walk into the base, everyone goes into the pit, 7 ults, Warden ults. How do they stop you? They don't have anything. They don't have like a dome to like wait it out, right? Like your patron is just gonna go down.
With all these unstoppables, right? The Moan Quill combo, the Viper Bola, even Dynamo Black Hole, right? These are not. We kept on talking about the Dynamo effect, but like they perfectly built around it, I believe. Lightning Scrolls, curses.
Yeah, the Dynamo is going to get interrupted.
Really
He doesn't have Unstoppable yet, as he prioritized other things, right? He didn't really go for the ult maxing Dynamo. He went for like a more supportive playstyle, as you said. Rescue Beam, Healing Tempo, Heroic Aura, Max Heal. But no, maybe it's biting back a little bit. Rejuve did go down, though. They didn't go for a push quite in time. I think maybe a little bit scared. So this game will go on a little longer, but one fight and it's over. As Moan Curl a little forward looking for something.
There is a 50k lead, so not entirely an even team fight. Trophy Collectors needs to find like the most optimal engage. And maybe a few mistakes.
They kind of had the engage there with the Mirage overextending, and the Moon Curl could have grabbed the Mirage, but I think a little afraid. I mean, I think he thought there's no way this Mirage was alone, but the Mirage actually was alone for a little bit, and so he definitely could have died, but it doesn't quite happen.
Not entirely. Oh, buffs are about to spawn in 20 minutes, and I mean, maybe I believe True Creatures is just waiting on buff timer here.
Yeah, most likely.
Look for the fight. Kind of watching the 7 here. I'm just trying to see like big numbers appear on my screen.
Actually, they're definitely, it doesn't look like they're waiting for the buffs because they're kind of postured. Maybe now I think that they're going back. I think someone is probably calling it, hey guys, let's get buffs. I'm assuming at this point we'll just see them.
So
Oh god.
I mean oh wait, hold on. Camp first, priorities.
Yeah, you gotta get the souls per minute up.
Yeah. He has a 2,000 back.
I mean, yeah, that's why you gotta get the 6,400 so that you can spend it. Makes sense. What do you even go if you're the 7 at this point? Like, you just go like leech, maybe? Like, you just go like.
Well, that has to go down.
I mean, you just go crippling, maybe.
Yeah.
It might just be crippling.
I could see spiritual as well. Now that it has ability duration, doesn't even has a lot of synergy with 7 at least.
Yeah, that's true. They're
Or
gonna go for the
or like a green, like plated armor, right? Stop the Infernus, stop the Gunshiv, maybe. Tanky.
I feel like you're not dying either way.
Yeah.
I just struggle to see how the 7 dies. Like, I don't know if he needs plated armor, but either way, I don't know if he needs anything. They're up 60k. I think he could just like randomly select an item and it'd be fine. At this point, they just need the last thing that they're missing is goo creatures have everything to win this game. All they need is the willpower.
I think we're waiting for an 80k 7 to end the game. He's living the power fantasy here, and he wants to fully
yeah. I mean, that's fair.
realize the dream.
I mean, I get it.
Bit of a JC standing.
We do have a JC standing situation, which is, for those that are not familiar, a term that is used when people kind of hostage the game. And even though one team has like a unlosable lead, they're making the extremely safe decision to wait for mid boss.
Yes.
Now mid boss is up. Surely you just force mid boss. Like,
hopefully
they cannot fight you.
Infernus has ultimate. Yamato has ult. Kelvin has dome. Infernus did buy inhibitor here.
Wait, look at the holiday. She's sneaky as hell. Look at the holiday right now.
Mystic reverb here for holiday. Yeah. I mean, you pop out with Veilwalker. Oh, walked it early.
Procced just in time. A wizard is never late. Oh wait. Okay, he's in. Oh god. The holiday a little lost. I mean, I'm gonna be looking at the 7 here because. Okay, finish the mid boss. Let's see this fight.
Animal got cursed. Oh my god, beautiful curse for the holiday. Wow.
7 got cursed. 7 gets grabbed. Silenced. Oh, he pops unstoppable though. He gets the ult off. And they're all dead. And it should be GG as they grab the rejuve. And it looks like goo creatures will be winning game 1 as they've got a wave pushing into the base. 80 seconds, everyone dead. So I think we're going to be seeing GGs. And now you might be thinking, why is no one typing GGs? That's because I muted all of them in game. So that I didn't have to listen to their comms. So I'm sure that they're typing GGs. I just can't see it. So we'll just assume everyone is typing GG's right now because the
The
game is
hero
over.
of that last fight is that Holiday. I don't know if you were watching, but the Dynamo was waiting above near the mid boxes to drop down an ultimate. And right as he dropped, the Holiday pressed curse, and the Dynamo just like flopped around helplessly as the mid boss fell. So
I
could've
did
been,
not
think,
see that.
There's a potential 5-man Dynamo ult coming in, but the Holiday we saw lurking around back got a crucial curse on the Dynamo, and it just completely gutted their engage.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard here. I mean, this was a very back and forth game. Like at the end, yeah, it was a huge lead, but for a long period of time, it was a very even game. And I would say that Trophy Collectors had a lead. Like they had they had a winning position, but they kind of just bit off more than they could chew. I don't know if you remember, but really the moment it turned around was when they tried to push 2 walkers and contest the urn. And this is a very classic situation where you try to spread yourself too thin and do too many things at once. When you're ahead, you don't really need to take these risks. You should just, stick to the fundamentals and just play solid deadlock.
Yep, entirely agree. Outside of good creatures too, especially because they ended up having the Mirage and the Warden with Majestic Leap, Mirage with Ultimate. So it looked like, for me at least, the good creatures had a lot more flexibility with their map movement. Obviously, we were focusing a lot on the team fights and the micro mechanics with the curses and stuff. But in terms of like rotations, like I remember one crucial urn fight, when the Trophy Collectors were ahead, I think the Dynamo was looking to run an urn, and 7 was on the other side, and 7 made the call, I guess, to rotate with the Mirage, because 7 ended up backing out. The Mirage took the place on the side lane to match the Viper, and then 7 was able to arrive at the fight and like crucially turn it with a obviously massive max ultimate.
Yeah. We wanted to check souls by source for 7, right? That's one thing we wanted to check. So neutral enemies, almost 15k. So he definitely hit the neutrals. Mirage breakable pickup 7k. Mirage hit the boxes. Also, we didn't see a Calico this game. Did we see Calico banned? I forget.
No.
Just no Calico this game. Which is a bit surprising because Calico box max has been kind of just, owning lobbies left and right. I mean, I played a scrim against melee creeps the other day, and like if you do the perfect routing with Calico or whatever, if you're not being pressured in your lane, average had like 3k breakable souls by 10 minutes.
Yep. So, I might be abusing that in matchmaking. It's kind of a little too fun to just abandon lane at 2 minutes and go hit enemy sewers. On Calico. But I've been keeping too much of a track on not only box maxing but also just statue maxing.
Especially with every item giving you less stats, like especially spirit and ammo being both like easier and harder to grab at the same time. Like ammo, you can get a lot of ammo from the side of a Titanic mag now, but at the same time, for any hero that needs flat ammo, like any shotgun hero that has, like, for example, Calico starts with 9, so even if you get Titanic, you're only at like 17 or like 16 or something. So any hero that needs that ammo really bad, the statues are kind of like one of the better ways to do it, funnily enough.
Yep. And while mildly niche, the statue buffs don't actually contribute to like souls. So for those comeback mechanics we were talking about, which have kind of like especially helped this game, right? We saw both teams like tug of warring their net worth leads.
Yeah.
Those statue buffs don't contribute to that. That's total souls per team. And so, we can sometimes see that net worth doesn't necessarily equate strength, especially if some team just has, or one guy just has like 2k souls worth of statue buffs.
Yeah, and looking at the scoreboard, I mean, I don't think anything too surprising. It kind of like was how it felt in game. The 7 top damage, top souls, top pretty much everything. The 7 had an incredible game. And on the side of trophy collectors, I mean, some of the hero picks just didn't really come to fruition. For example, this Dynamo, I didn't really feel like was able to get value out of the black holes most of the time. I think we saw 1 or 2 fights when there were some big black holes, and I don't really think that this was necessarily the Dynamo's fault, but it just didn't work out. And the side of goo creatures, like you said, they itemized well. They had curses, they had lightning scrolls, and so Dynamo probably had to rush like an early unstoppable if you wanted to be useful this game.
Completely agree. He went for this full heal max build, but unfortunately with especially Dynamo healing, when you go heal Nova and you have your rejuvenating Aurora, right, all the characters need to stay close to you to heal, and the Warden ult and the 7 ult like kind of just completely counteract that.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like if they're running out the dynamo, you want to run away from the dynamo as fast as possible.
That's 100% true. So for the next game, which will be the final game of day 1, as you know, this is a shorter day generally. I'm gonna run another poll for which team to cast. So we're gonna try to, you know, have a little bit of diversity, try to cast some new teams. But you know, I'll give the options of the teams we haven't casted yet. So we haven't casted the New York Triad, we haven't casted Mama's Boys, we haven't casted the Groglodites, I believe, and we haven't casted the Patron Saints. So these are 4 teams we haven't seen. So I'll just run a little poll, and I'm going to send it to a break in just a second. And after the break, we're going to look at the updated bracket in just a little bit. Give me a sec. So we're probably going to send it to roughly like a 5 to 10 minute break. I'm just going to do a 10-minute timer, but we might be back a little bit earlier or not. I think I might need to get some water and whatnot. So going to send it to the break in just a second, and we will be back after the break with the updated bracket, go over that, and then we'll go over the last game of the day, as well as, you know, what'll happen next weekend. Catch you soon.
I'm excited. See you guys soon.
keeps me up through the nighttime, keeps me dreaming through the day. Is that the goddess of wisdom is only a block away? I wanna fly with the Jetsons, I wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, where you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, I wanna shoot past the stars. What's done is done. Oh, we'll live and die by the number 21, where energy is flowing through machines that are all knowing, and the lightning outshines the sun. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, and you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars with you. With you. 12 words in my head, only valuable unsaid. A phrase in my mind to better all mankind. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars, I wanna take you to a place you've never been before, where nothing rhymes like purple and orange, where you can count the coldest law. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars with you. Oh, with you. Oh, with you. I wanna fly with the Jetsons, wanna shoot past the stars.
And welcome back, everybody, to Deathy's Death Slam in the European version. I'm your host, Deathy, and I'm joined once again with Griffin, and we're going to go over
Hello.
a couple things. But first of all, let's go over the current standings. So let me switch scenes, go over the standings. So right now, the match that we're about to cover, Mama's Boys versus Goo Creatures. As you can see here, they're both 2-0. So this match will determine who gets the seeding, and I'll talk a little bit about what impacts the seeding, and what effects that has on the teams. In the middle of the pack right now, Trophy Collectors, Press Some Buttons, Patron Saints, and Groglodites are all 1-1, and Pula Free Kentucky as well as New York Triad are both 0-2. So will Ryan win a game? Well, we won't really know because we won't be covering that one. But maybe he will, maybe he won't. Talking about the seeding real quick, and then I'll let you bounce off.
Sure.
Essentially, the way that next weekend is going to work is that the seeding does not only determines your first matchup, essentially, and like your bracket path, right? So seed number 1 is going to face seed number 8 in the first round. And let's remember that the first round next week is going to be best of 1 single elimination. So off the first round, 4 teams are going to be eliminated right away. And then the games after that are going to be best of 3, still single elimination. So essentially, like your seeding matters a lot for the first round because it's, if you lose that one, you're out. But in NA, we saw seed number 4 and seed number 6 make the finals. So maybe it doesn't matter that much.
tagging along with seeding. Really important to see that, like, especially if some teams have like difficult matchups or difficult drafts with one team in particular, sometimes it's kind of important to have those matchups be on opposite sides of the bracket from you, because you're only ever going to see them once, and maybe another team can take them out. So, at least for the context of single elimination brackets, seeding is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Talking
That's
about
true.
being a bit of a match duration type of guy, to give Ryan and his team some credit, their game did go to 48 minutes. The longest game we've seen so
Oh my
far by a
God.
large margin.
Really?
There's no other 40-minute game. Yeah.
48
So they're
minutes.
48
Holy.
minutes from it was Groglodites and Poulet, or sorry, I told Ryan that I would say the full name once they won a match. So Groglodites and PFK, they can
Okay.
earn the rights for the full name.
Yeah.
Went for a 48-minute banger.
Mhm.
So we're seeing some long games. We might see another one. At least the games we're watching. The last one is 38 minutes. The one before that was 31 minutes. So a lot of
Yeah.
high octane, action-packed games from what I've been telling. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So going back to the camera scene, before we get into the game, I just want to do a quick little sponsored segment and shout out section. Thank you to everybody that's involved in helping make this happen. So obviously, thank you, Griffin, for helping last minute with the casting. Thank
problem.
you, Ref, for helping set up the whole event and helping, manage everything. We've also got Moshi helping out. We've got Mofu Rabbit, Mekril helping out with being moderating. A lot of people behind the scenes kind of helping make this happen and make this event be possible. And thank you for all the teams for participating and, giving good content. And I hope you guys are enjoying at home. And if you are enjoying, well, this leads to my sponsored segment because, I'm putting a lot of effort into this and a lot of my time, spending coaching all the teams. It's a lot of time. And so if you want to support me and what I'm doing, because I'm doing all of it pretty much for free, the best ways to support me are, one, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, if you're on YouTube, you can become a member. It's essentially the same thing as a sub on Twitch. So, maybe you guys can show YouTube chat is better than Twitch chat. Last time, you guys kind of popped off in YouTube. And if you're on Twitch, you can subscribe either using, the tier 1 subs, or you can use your Twitch Prime if you've got it. And if you'd like to get something for your money, I do offer coaching. So you can do ! coaching. It's paid $30 US per hour. Usually it's an hour. And I'm sure that there's people in the chat that I've coached that can attest to my coaching. I believe that I offer, one of the best coaching sessions that you can get out there at the moment in Deadlock. And so if that's your type of thing, well, hit me up, ! coaching. You can book directly there. And that's it for the sponsored segment. Not going to sell out. And I'm going to let the teams know we're ready to draft.
I might have to tap into the coaching segment. Getting a little rusty.
Fair enough.
I'll lock in for when the game goes public and
sure. Who knows when that'll be? I mean,
matchmaking gets competitive.
Yep. We're live with draft.
Yep.
Kelvin first ban.
Mama Boy's hovering a Kelvin ban.
They didn't hover it very long. They knew what they wanted to ban.
I think this is the first time we've seen at least not an Abrams first ban. Wonder if we'll see an Abrams being picked. A question to ask you, maybe you can help educate me and the chat. Do you know how many games each team scrimmed? Were they like organized?
Yeah.
Did each team scrim every other team, or how much experience does each team have against specific other teams?
Yeah. So essentially, some teams started scrimming at the start of the week. As far as number of scrims, as far as I'm aware, the number of scrims is fairly limited. And so I think most teams probably had maybe somewhere between 4 to 6 games of scrims, not even like individual scrims. I'm talking like games, right? So I think most teams had probably roughly 4 to 6 games of scrims. Some team maybe a little bit more, some teams maybe a little bit less. So yeah, Shiv ban, Wraith first picked.
Wow. I was asking because I wanted to know, or I didn't know how many of these bans are like, target bans for one specific hero or one specific person. If they know that what person is like low-key a one trick. I don't know how much of the metagame of players is going into the decisions in draft. But already we're seeing a much different draft than we've seen before. I think the last two are pretty similar. Now we see Wraith first pick.
It's first time we see Abrams not banned, and Abrams instantly gets picked. So, I think Goo Creatures, their drafting style from last game was very like team fight heavy, and Abrams does contribute a lot to that. So we'll kind of see if they prioritize the 7 a little higher. I mean, the 7 I feel like kind of carried them last game, so maybe they'll high
Yep.
prio it. But at the same time, he got a great start, so who knows?
Yeah, it was a dream game. So what I'm interested to see is if Goo Creatures how Goo Creatures adapts to whether or not they like try to force that early team fight, the early fights, the early lead. Maybe they're just very confident in their laning, or if they're still playing for reserved, maybe they'll switch up their drafting style if they're not entirely comfortable with forcing that lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Warden's second pick, not too surprised. I mean, it did a lot of work for them as well. It wasn't just the 7, and we've seen Warden being extremely high priority. I love the Geist pick here. I think Geist is such a great answer to Warden and Abrams. The swap really counters a large part of their kit, because Abrams is like damage regeneration. Unlike Bloodletting, he can kind of delete some of the damage from swap. Abrams can't really delete any of it. And Warden also, if he goes on you with ult, like brings you down really low, you just swap him. All of a sudden, you can burst him down.
An easy way to also just delay how effective Warden ult is, right? Warden has to be scared of getting swapped and getting bursted down with a well-timed bomb swap or some other synergies. Paradox as well. So honestly, I think Holiday is in a good spot, but obviously I believe Paradox to be the stronger pick character. I wonder if Goo Creatures is going to prio Holiday here. If they're worried about Holiday getting banned in the next ban phase. That's what I would expect. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Holiday gets picked. I think it makes sense. Like you get your pick hero. I mean, Holiday's been getting a decent amount of value in these games. I mean, unless Ryan was playing it, but like other than that, it's been doing good. And Ryan tried his best. He got some decent lassos as well. He just didn't quite get the damage up there, but that's okay. I think it's still a good hero, and it just makes sense to have it.
Goo Creatures is taking their time a little bit longer. I mean, I think they generally take their time with draft.
Yeah.
But I'm a little curious to see their team insights on how they're deciding, because I wonder what they're particularly worried about. Obviously they didn't draft Calico last game, and Calico just went completely unpicked, unbanned.
Yeah.
They're bringing Viscous here. And 7.
Viscous, well, that's a good 7 ban, I will say.
Yeah. Was Mama Boys watching the last game? I'm not too sure.
Either they're watching or they've got some soldiers out on the streets scouting for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's with these games you've definitely got like a bunch of friends in the chat and stuff watching, and like I'm sure that there's people like DMing them and like, these guys picked 7 and they popped off, like make sure to ban it or something, right? So.
Honestly, the Viscous, we didn't watch Mama Boys before, but the Viscous pick could also be in a similar line of thinking.
Yeah.
Or no.
We'll see what we see for fourth pick here. I mean, I think as far as strong heroes that are left, like I wouldn't be that surprised to see. So Calico might be investing a little bit too much into the front line, and then you might be opening yourself up to like a Vindicta pick late. They're gonna pick Ivy here, which I like the Ivy. I think it's a good strong pick here.
I think you're not entirely worried about Mama Boys draft. I'm not entirely worried about. I mean, they still kind of need like that carry hero, and obviously 7 was banned, but because Wraith was picked. Is Mirage still open? Mirage is still open. I mean, I would really expect Goo Creature to pick up Mirage here. They kind of need like some consistent left click damage carry. Viper is also open. Obviously Dynamo and Ivy got picked, so no McGinnis, which I'm kind of sad about. But
yeah, and also like I feel like Dynamo, I don't know, like on paper this hero can be good, but I don't know if it's really that good into the comp of Goo Creatures. Like they've got good answers. Like almost all of the heroes on the enemy team can cancel it. Once Abrams gets max ult, he can cancel it. Ivy can cancel it with Stone Form. Warden if he has Lightning Scroll. Holiday with Lasso. So this Dynamo needs Unstoppable, and we just haven't seen it get that much value yet. So I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it here.
Wombo Boys did instantly draft the last Dynamo combo, so maybe we could see some huge Wombo combos with comboing both ultimates. Yeah. Yamato pick for Goo Creatures. I think most games we've kind of seen this Yamato as an answer or counter pick to Dynamo. Maybe people are considering it for like mid boss secure or just like general team fighting. And Calico last pick, so finally get to see Calico. Maybe see some boxes.
Yeah,
I like Goo Creatures. I think Mama Boys does have Wraith. They have like this Lash Dynamo, which could, in theory, be very optimal in terms of Wombo comboing. But outside of Goo Creatures, you have Stone Form, Yamato Transformation, and Mirage Tornado. So I'm honestly not too sure which draft I like more. I think I'm leaning Goo Creatures, though.
Yeah, for me, I think I also prefer Goo Creature's draft. I do think Mama's Boy's draft is very strong.
Mhm.
I just think it's a little harder to execute. I think Goo Creature's draft is like fairly easy to pilot. They've got the global presence with Ivy and Mirage as well, so they're like extremely mobile comp. Their team fighting is also like they've got big team fight ults. Although Mama's Boys also do have big team fight ults with the Lash and Dynamo. I think pretty much it's gonna be, do you get value from Lash Dynamo or not? Because if you
Yep.
ignore the Lash Dynamo from their draft, Mama's Boys have really strong heroes across the board like Wraith, Calico, Geist, Paradox. So it's just gonna be, do you get value from these heroes or not? Which I guess we'll see soon enough.
Mhm. I also think Geist. I like the Geist pick here a lot, though. I think relatively Goo Creatures is not entirely like that. They don't have like the insane mobile characters to like outrun Geist. And
Yeah.
I could see Geist having like a stellar game the way Imp had a stellar game on 7. Kind of comes down to how laning phase goes, how playstyle goes. Obviously, we've seen before draft isn't everything in lane. When we're in game.
Yep.
Cool.
Just started the game. Let the teams know we're starting. Hopefully they're all ready. You know, if not, they'll pause and we'll be all right.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll do a little roster rundown as always for Amber, and then I'll let you go over for the side of Sapphire as we wait for people to connect. But on the side of Amber, we've got RGR on the Wraith, 666 on the Paradox, ZZ Focus on the Lash, Idikut on the Lady Geist, Juva on the Dynamo, and Lemeltog on the Calico.
And on Sapphire, we have the returning Goo Creatures. We have Sheldon on Ivy, TPDK on Yamato once again. Imp, the 7 from last game, is now on Abrams. We have Ebe on Warden again, Kunik on Mirage again, and then Politer on Holiday, I believe, again. Just to mention, I was reading Deathy's chat. One guy said that the Abram guy has 900 games on that champ. So
Really?
maybe, yeah.
900?
Someone in your chat said that. Unsure how factual that is, but if this is true, we might be in for another Imp movie.
Maybe Im's just the GOAT. We don't know.
Maybe he's the GOAT. I mean,
That's crazy.
also last game, not to cover his achievements, but TPGK also did it stellar, because while
That's
Imp
right.
was hitting the camps, TPGK was like 12-3 or something, like
He was
completely
in the
dominating
bugs.
team fights. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, in terms of laning here, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I think that on the side of, like, you know, we've got, like, Lash Dynamo in the mid lane, which should be, like, quite interesting. I would say that, as I say this, my computer is, like, literally just, my frames are dying. Oh, they paused.
Well, they paused for you. They got you.
Thank you.
I think
yeah,
one
my
thing I'm
frames are
interested about
literally
is-
dying. Let me just see what's going
Yeah,
on
you're
here.
good. I
Holy
could talk for a little bit. One thing I'm interested about is, at least for me, because we were talking about, or at least in my experience in
I'm
matchmaking,
going
what
to
I've
switch
seen
to the
in pro
camera
play.
scene real quick because I need to restart
Sure.
my game potentially.
I'll go for it.
Yeah.
One thing I'm interested about is we've been talking about box running a little bit as like one of the like higher tiers. Oh, they are on pausing. So
That's all good. Just
I'll
keep
just talk
talking.
about it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
maybe up. One of the things I'm interested about is we kind of talked about Calico box running a lot, especially considering that boxes now spawn at 2 minutes. It was stronger like a patch or two ago because boxes gave you secured souls, but now that they're unsecured, they generate a bag. They're not entirely as safe, but still at 2 minutes, Calico can just pop up in the cat and just run through all the boxes in sewer, generating like 300, 400 souls, plus an extra like 100 or 200 from just golden statue buffs. So interesting to
Yeah.
see Calico be in the side lane, because personally, I like playing Calico mid, where Calico has a lot more access to box runs, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Calico mid is 100% the way to go. Like, the boxes are crazy, as you said. Like, it's insane value. As I'm looking to rejoin, hopefully it's going to be fine. You know, I mean, technical difficulties happen. It's part of life.
I'll try to just commentate on what's happening because I don't think your stream's showing it.
Yeah,
Funny enough, the Dynamo and the Lash were at boxes at the spot of one, like at 159 at 2 minutes. They were both postured near double boxes. They didn't hit sewers yet, but Lash hit like a lot of the boxes near the Sinner Sacrifice. The Dynamo's hitting a lot of boxes on the other side, so they're aware, or this team is at least aware of boxes.
Yeah, we're back on the stream, by the way. Like, technical issues have been resolved, so my frames are not 2 FPS, so we should be good here.
Paradox already has Heal Nova, so we're kind of Ivy has Heal Nova as well. So we're. I'm glad to see this itemization. Itemization is very nice to look at.
Yo, what the hell is happening to my game? Okay, wait, we're good.
Nothing weird is happening. Of no. Oh, Lash might be getting gone on
Yeah,
here.
what? Are you seeing this weird, like... If you spectate the Lash, is anything weird to you?
No, my game's perfectly fine.
Okay. So, for me, it's just when I spectate the... Well, okay. We've got some artifacts or something. Okay. If I spectate anyone in the mid lane... Or anyone at all, really. Hopefully it goes away.
There have been 3 minutes and no deaths, which I think is the longest we've gone for the past 2 games we watched before.
I'm gonna hit it with maybe another game restart or something. Oh wait, actually,
Go for it.
No, it's not fixed. All right, I'm gonna put us back on the camp scene. We've got some. My game is not having fun right now, guys. The game is in a playtest, so you know we're technical issues do happen. I've been having some performance issues recently with Deadlock. I think a lot of people have. So
yeah,
I think they were working on optimizing it a little bit.
Maybe ever could get up for a quick stretch as I try to commentate this game in podcast form. Funny, the mid lane, I guess this Lash is getting a little too aggressive, but the Lash was down at like 100 souls, and the Dynamo bought Heal Nova, the Lash bought Healing Right, and then brought him all the way back to 1,000 HP. Unfortunately, he did get punctured again. The Lash keeps going in, looking for a slam, and then gets instantly countered by Yamato's Crimson Slash, basically healing for all the damage of the slam. And then the Holiday throws a barrel crack shot, instantly does 300 damage, so... We got our first death of the game from the Meltog on the Calico on the right lane. So Calico's already dead, dying to Ebe on the Warden. But otherwise, game's relatively even. There's a relative equal soul count amongst all the laners. Nothing of interesting to be note. Dynamo, so Lash did... Oh, Dynamo hit a 2-man ultimate. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but this is looking like a double kill. Okay, you got that. Double kill for the Dynamo in the mid lane. Beautiful ultimate. Yamato did have ultimate, but was not able to react in time enough to the Dynamo walking up. He basically just walked up and down smashed. Imp finding a pick as well. Looks like he's about to find another. ID cut missing the parry.
Imp on the Abrams making it happen, and we're finally back. Doesn't seem to be any issues this time. No weird lines, no FPS drops, and people are talking about GPUs. Yeah, my GPU is struggling a little bit, so if you'd like to support, I mean, feel free to subscribe. It'll help me upgrade to a 4th gen GPU, so I can run AV1 encoding and have a nicer stream quality and all of that stuff. That's probably my next PC upgrade. But anyhow, I'm not gonna, let's focus on the game. And it's right now fully even, 4 kills to 4 kills in the laning stage. It doesn't look like any objective advantage.
There's already a slight, I think, 1,000, 2,000 lead in the side of Mama Boys here.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like 1,000 lead at this point is like a little fake.
Imp might be going down here. Imp took a little bit too much poke. 666 with the carbine snipe.
Yeah, that could be tower potentially, right? I mean, he's gonna have boost, so it might not be tower, but the tower is half. So even if he boosts, like with the boost speed nerf, I think that they might just be able to take it before he gets back. I'd love to see the guys just...
Oh, and Paradox hits a swap on the Mirage here, so the Mirage is in trouble. They're looking for the dive.
Yeah,
Mirage Heal Nova is to get himself...
I don't actually really like this, though. I feel like if they just shot the tower, they would have just taken the tower.
They ended up using both ultimates, and now Abrams is here, potentially 1v2ing. Now the Geist Strain is too much.
Abrams going in, 900 games, fakes out the parry. Both parries baited.
That's how you know he's a little bit more experienced on Abrams there.
Yeah.
TBTK hitting very low here, but getting out safely. He's very comfortable in this Yamato here. I can see them. I mean, obviously Yamato isn't particularly proud in draft, but I can see them looking for Yamato a bit more for TBTK. Seems like a very good comfort pick for him, especially in counter to the Dynamo.
Ready for showtime.
I think overall a slower game, or at least a less bloody one than what we've been used to. Left tower goes down on the side of two creatures, and Imp is just getting harassed by this Geist. It's not a good matchup, the Geist straight into Abrams.
Yeah, it's a little hard because you want to get on top of her, but if you do get on top of her, then you really win that upgrade. And a lot of the time with, Malice combined with the Drain, it's very difficult. And on the other lanes, I mean, unfortunately, like, Abrams Mirage is kind of one of your stronger lanes, so it's kind of one of the lanes you want to win.
Mirage did build Cult to Sacrifice. So even though Mirage lost, so Mirage did lose tower, but Mirage technically does have Cult to Sacrifice, looking to maybe eat tier 3 at the 8-minute mark. Dynamo's going down here in the mid lane. Oh, hits a crazy parry on TBTK. I don't know if it'll matter, though. still goes down.
Not seem to matter. Still goes down, and it's going to be a Flogmax Lash. So he's just rushing Flogmax. This seems to be kind of the meta right now. For Lash, you get a lot of sustain. We'll see kind of what items, but I expect we'll see, you know, Tank Buster, potentially Locket, although it might not be the best Locket game in this lane specifically. Although it is pretty decent, but yeah, I expect to see like Tank Buster, that type of build. And we've got, you know, now it's starting to be a slight lead for the side of Mama's Boys. They've got a tower. They've got, you know, 3K lead, 4K lead. As Calico's in a bit of an engage here on the right side, it looks like.
These are your final moments.
I agree. We see a Headhunter rush here on the Paradox. I'm going for a pretty standard build path, I believe. Nothing catches me too out of surprise. Wraith has a Cultist Sacrifice. We're seeing those go online now.
Yeah, Warden's going to ult take the
standard.
tower.
Our progress continues.
Ults take the tower,
play.
and, you know, essentially...
Fast slowing Hex here from the Warden. Love to
Yeah,
see it.
I personally love that. I think that one thing we saw in previous games was Warden like reading slowing Hex a little bit too much. And, you know, this game you're playing against Wraith, you're playing against Flash, you're playing against Dynamo and Calico. Like, slowing Hex is insane value this game.
In the mid lane, Dynamo's looking to siege here with Black Hole. I wonder if Dynamo's going to look to either solo or duo Black Hole. They have that Lash Dynamo combo. I think it's like, honestly, kind of practice. They obviously put these two in the lane together for this reason, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was practice for sure. It's first game we see Lash in as well, so I'm pretty excited. Usually in the, you know, in the NA version of this tournament, Lash was banned almost every single game in second phase.
Really?
Yeah, because as far as the applicants go, like as far as heroes that were selected, Lash was like one of the most played heroes by the people, which I guess is not surprising since they watch me. And,
It might be
you know,
your
I do
fans.
play a lot of Lash. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, great tracking from the Dynamos. Teams are ready for buffs.
I
It
watched
looks
that.
like Geist is gonna get the buff on the left side, and on the right side, Wraith gets it. So both buffs going to the side of Mama's Boys. We'll see if it matters. As Geist is being chased down by Yamato and Abrams. She does have life swap, so will they be able to take her down? 70 HP. 9 HP on the side of Geist. She barely survives. He's going to hide around the corner.
They both realize.
But does Abrams realize? She can go for the swap. Gets the swap! Just barely. Abrams tries to ult away. Oh my god.
I don't believe he gets out here. No way.
Okay.
Goes down.
He goes down.
They could escape.
Unfortunately, Imp, I believe, was aware of the Geist swap, but he chose to go for the charge instead of just shooting, which might have just killed the Geist outright. Especially because of how low the Geist was.
Yeah, yeah.
Throwing gloom.
Almost
Definitely a
worked
tough
out.
situation.
Yeah.
Now you've got
Geist is at
slightly for the side of
5,500K.
Mama's Boys.
Or-
5,500K.
Well, that,
Geist
waking
has
up, I'm waking up.
5.5 million.
5.5. The Geist has
Geist is an
5.5
Oiler.
thousand.
Yeah.
Interesting build here. Is he going for Bomb Max?
It does look like this is a bomb max, but yeah.
Interesting. We're seeing a lot of diversity here. Dynamo with Cultist as well.
Big fight on the right side. Dynamo gets charged, taken
Wow,
down
Dynamo
right away.
explodes.
As Mirage is looking to run down this team here. Warden ults as well. Let's see if he can make anything happen. Just looking to zone them off. I think they're just looking to turn in the urn. Slowing X onto the Paradox. Gets taken down as well. And it looks like the urn will be going to the side of Goo Creatures. But in the meantime...
All the boys has 2 on walkers.
Yeah. Geist is pressuring left
Unfortunately,
walker,
it is
ready to
11
back up?
minutes. Or it's 11. It's almost 12 minutes, but like these walkers, I think still are like around. They don't have any negative resistances because of the durability
they're-
of walkers scales downward as the game progresses.
Yeah.
So even though they had that pressure, like the left tower, which Geist was Geist as with Mallets does so much tower damage, only took like a quarter of its HP.
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough,
Not
at this
entirely
stage of the game,
distributed.
troopers do like just way more damage to walkers than you do. If you have a full
Yeah.
wave, like matters a lot more than how much like you kind of just chip them.
Yep.
Especially with the items that Geist has, you know, doesn't have a lot of guns. So overall, it went not really a great trade for the side of Mama's Boys. Like this was definitely favorable for Goo Creatures coming back into the game fully and evening out the souls.
Bulliter on Holiday now has Veilwalker active. I'm kind of looking for the other buys. Ebe on the Warden is sitting at 5,000. Imp on Abrams is at 3.4 thousand. So I think I'm looking here to see Goo Creatures hit their buys right now. They all have about a 3K item they can purchase. Looking to see them get active now that Holiday is Veilwalker. A lot of them are hitting their damage power spikes. And hopefully take advantage of that pressure.
Yeah.
Dynamo has max wave.
Paradox swaps onto the Holiday, silences, drain onto her. Can they manage to take her down? She lives with 200. Still getting chased. Good punch onto the Geist, though. Cage's counter initiation goes in. Will the Geist manage to live? She doesn't
Geist
have
has no
ult as
swap.
she's getting ran down by the ward and will probably go down here. I don't see a world where she lives. And
Yep.
great response from the side of Goo Creatures. We've got a bit of a split push happening in the side lane, though. If you look at the side of Mama's Boys, they're going to be looking to hit this Walker, while Goo Creatures is only hitting a Guardian. And this could be, like, very unfavorable, but they're taking the TP to try to defend this here.
We were talking about the Geist not doing damage, but this Wraith definitely does do damage. Unfortunately, the lasso hits here. The Wraith gets Walker stopped, and I believe the Wraith is going to go down here very shortly. Looks to get a little bit of Walker damage right before death. Calico seems to probably be dead here. Has ultimate at 31 HP. Abram chasing with ultimate.
She's got cat
Calico
at
might just
0.5.
have... Wow.
I think she's out.
Wow. Calico sitting on 6.4k. More than half Calico's net worth is currently in her bank.
Yeah.
2 points cat though, so obviously.
Gotta spend that money.
OP's hitting the boxes. In the boxes.
Yeah, he's getting the boxes.
I mean, that right walker. I think that damage on right walker, even though Wraith did go down. Honestly, I'd take that trade for the right walker damage. Because now Wraith could easily just pressure that, or honestly, Geist or anyone.
I think it's okay, but when you look at the net worth, we saw a huge net worth swing in the favor of Goo Creatures, right? They're now up 6k, whereas it was fully even before that overall trade. So you did get some good damage on the Walker. So if you manage to get an opportunity, you can even it out by getting a Walker. But, you know, still an advantageous situation as the buffs and urns spawn in 30 seconds. And they're going to spawn on the side of the Wraith right now. So we'll see how both teams kind of set up for this.
Yep. Looking at builds here, Dynamo has max wave with superior cooldown. So looking to maybe look for a bit of a more damagey hybrid build here. Calico is full spirit. As we've seen. Flash, as you said, going for that tank buster flog build.
Both
Paradox
teams
has max
posturing
wall
here.
now.
I don't love the Holiday being on the side lane here, but it looks like there's going to be a swap on the Abrams. Goes down right away. As we see, the side of Mama's Boys right on top of the buff on the right time. And they're going to be able to pick up this urn here and be in the driving seat and kind of dictate what gets to happen on the map. And I think that this is very advantageous for them because they've also got the Walker damage. So they get to decide whether they want to split push, whether they want to go for this urn. And, you know, overall, they just get to dictate the pace of the next, like, minute or two of gameplay.
Yep. Warden has hit his tower spike of Lightning Scroll. Unfortunately, so probably another ult Warden we're seeing. Unfortunately, doesn't have Majestic Leap just yet. Doesn't have the timing for it. And is only sitting at 2,000. So it's going to be a little while. I don't think he's going to get Majestic Leap in time for this urn fight. May or may not help with his positioning, which is especially crucial considering it could get canceled by Wraith ult, which may or may not... Wraith ult will probably be up for this fight. And then Dynamo ult as well. So we'll see how with this Warden positions, because he could be the one to, you know, change the world.
Yeah, Paradox hits the swap, but unfortunately gets counter-initiated on an instantly deleted. Warden still hasn't popped his ult, as the Wraith is just going to look to get the turn in right away. Lash ult, Wraith gets the urn. Can we get a big Lash ult? Lash ult onto 2, slams, doesn't really manage to get anything, and I believe that it looks like Mama's Boys are going to be losing this fight quite badly, but if they manage to just reach that, they got the urn, so they shouldn't be too worried about this, as Lasso doesn't quite connect onto the guys, as she tries to keep kiting away. We'll see if she's able to make it out.
Oh, the guy's being caught out here by the Abrams here with Crushing Fist, so he's very mobile with the heavy punches. Geist does have swap though. At low HP, could look to turn things.
What does it take to stop Abrams?
Yeah, not really anything, you know, going in the favor of Goo Creatures here. They got a couple kills, but overall, from a Soul's perspective, it's fairly even still, right? And you know, getting the urn there is absolutely huge. And I just want to point out, I don't think we've seen really a black hole so far.
I don't think so either. That last fight, the Dynamo got tornadoed and instantly just got blown up. Similarly,
Maybe we could see one right here. Dynamo looking to go on the Ivy.
Jump pads out safely. Early gargoyle. Could look for a black hole here.
Very early. Oh, good dodge from the
Really
Dynamo.
dodge on the Dynamo. Yep.
Kind of slick movement right there, and we're just gonna see a reset. This is very common, you know, teams throwing out abilities and then let's just reset.
I'm not entirely too sure about the first game, but I don't think the second game the Dynamo bought Warpstone. So already seeing more of a. We went max wave, and I think we're looking to max. We're looking to max singularity second, maybe his heal. But with the arcane surge, superior cooldown, Warpstone, we're already seeing more focus on that ultimate team fight changing playstyle.
Yeah. Looks like Warden's
So
not
need to
really
wait
opting for Majestic Leap really this game, or maybe he's going to go it much later, but he's prioritizing a lot of other items before it. Despite having a Lightning Scroll, so you would figure he would want a position for his ult, but maybe he thinks he can just run at them.
Mirage hit the power spike of Siphon Bullets here. Oh, lasso on the Calico cat.
Savior of
Calico gets
Spanish
ultimate
Harlem.
off.
Ready to get
still in kind of a dicey position here. Barrel does not connect. Flash
Wait.
ultimate. Flash ult
Onto
just went, I
one.
believe.
Yep, but it's enough. As Wraith and Dynamo play,
counter
Dynamo the
game.
Black Hole on the Yamato, and that's 3 kills from the side of Mama's Boys. Before that fight happened, the Wraith actually was 1v1ing the Ivy and also killed the Ivy, so huge pressure on all lanes here.
Wraith is just uncontested on the Walker. It's gone. Oh, and Warden looks like Warden's getting gone on.
Warden's trying to
Warden
change
pops
the
ultimate
world.
here.
Can he?
Unfortunately, not getting a lot of value here. Only hitting 1 or 2 at a time with his last stand.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go down. Big parry, though, but unfortunately not going to matter. As Wraith, looking to TP to the other side of the map, will probably get Walker Stomped. Actually manages to escape, and Mama's Boys are really looking to up the pressure. They're going to be getting 2 Walkers here, it looks like, and
RGR
huge
is
soul lead.
upping the pace here incredibly well.
Yep, and they're going to full reset and not lose anyone, and now they're up 15k. They're also up 2 flex slots as well.
Yeah. Importantly, like RGR obviously 1v1ing the support Ivy, so obviously it's a little favored inside of favored inside the Wraith. Wraith now spent 7,000 now to upgrade to Mercurial Magnum, so his Wraith is looking incredibly strong, and it's interesting to see how Goo Creatures will react, or how Goo Creatures will possibly dive the Wraith here in order to stop, because without unchecked, this Wraith will just decimate, you know, shred through the Abrams, shred through the Yamato.
Yeah. And buffs and urn spawning in 20 seconds now. This will be a comeback urn for the side of Goo Creatures, so it's particularly pivotal moment in the game. If Goo Creatures manage to pick up this urn, they could come back into the game fairly easily, but if they don't, it could be tough. And it looks like both teams are going to posture for it. The Wraith is going to go up. Warden already in position, so Goo Creatures has the high ground. Wraith TPs up there extremely aggressively, ults onto the Abrams.
3-man Arctic
Abrams.
Blast.
Oh my god. Ashel doesn't quite connect, as you know, this fight is a scramble. Abrams and Warden are both 1 HP, but Lemmeltog is the first one to go down as Abrams keeps going, but will this work out? Lasso, I didn't see who it connected onto, but the Geist goes down as well. Warden ult just came off cooldown, goes onto the Lash. Lightning Scroll should connect as well, and that's 3 kills for the side of Goo Creatures, looking to come back into this game as they pick up this urn. No, actually, they're going to go
Dynamo's
mid.
getting chased here. Oh, Barrel connects. 55 HP. Gets out barely on the Dynamo.
They're going mid. I love this. This is such a huge mid-boss opportunity here. Like, even if you lose the mid-walker, like, who cares? I don't think they're going to lose the mid-walker, but getting this mid-boss is by far, like, their best chance at coming back into the game here and ensuring that Mama's Boys can't get it themselves if they win a fight as well.
Incredible fight, too, because they were down so they ended up getting a lot of comeback gold.
Yeah.
I was mentioning RGR being really fed for taking 2 walkers, but Lametog on the Calico was running the boxes. It did have Arctic Blast for that fight. Hit a 3-man Arctic Blast. I thought they were going to win off of that. But a good lasso from Politer connecting on the Geist, which stunned the Geist from swapping. Politer just stood still, looked pretty for the Ivy to gun/kudzu the Geist down. And looking a bit more even, especially after the turn.
Yeah, and after the urn, only a 6k differential, and you know, mid-boss is such a huge factor. It pushes all your lanes and gives you like priority, and if you take any trade, right, not only are you going to get a bit of comeback still since you're a little bit behind, but on top of that, your respawn timers are going to be way shorter. So I would say Goo Creature is looking in a really good spot right now.
One thing I'm a little worried about is, highlighting the Abrams build here, he ended up building Berserker as his next item. He rushed Crushing Fist, which I think is good. However, with Berserker, the one thing I'm worried about is that we have a full Spirit Power Calico, we have Dynamo, Bomb Geist, and then, you know, like Flog Max, and then even with Wraith and Paradox, they also do just a good amount of spirit damage with their abilities. So I'm worried that this Abrams is kind of just blowing up in fights. So we ended up building weighted shots. So we built a bit of spirit resist, but I'm still worried that this Abrams is not entirely tanky enough, not enough dedication to his vegetables here to actually survive these engagements.
I guess we'll see as Calico ult force here. Lash ult as the counter rotation goes onto this Abrams, get Lash ulted and block ult. So this is the combo that we spoke about. Abrams goes down instantly, kind of like you said, blew up a little bit, and it looks like they're going to keep going in here. Geist suck as the side of Goo Creatures try to reset here. I mean, that's a lot of ults used from Mama's Boys, only for 1 kill, and that's a rejuve kill, so it's not really worth that much, right? He's going to respawn very quickly, and now they don't have Black Hole, they don't have Lash ult, they have nothing.
Completely agree. Warden ended up building Majestic Leap, as we were mentioning before. How finally has it. Mirage with Literature Power, and Holiday and Ivy both have rapid recharge. So at least in terms of CG potential goes, I think Few features are going to be really impressive here. So with kudzu and barrels getting thrown,
Yeah.
it's not entirely safe to just stand under Walker, even with the Walker giving 20% resist.
It's 15% now, in fact. But yeah,
15? Ooh.
yeah, they got changed a little bit, but that's all good. Dynamo gets lassoed and taken down, and I think that this should be a pretty straightforward, like, you just take every Walker on the map now. No Dynamo for 50 seconds, no really big ultimates to speak of. Warden leaping in, going for the ult under the Walker here. Stuns the Paradox, and it's just behind enemy line, so you can't back up as Wraith ults the Warden, but you're not really going to be able to kill this guy. Decay on top of him, Lash ult. That's huge, but is it big enough? Abrams gets parried. Tornado onto the Lash. Will they take him down? Two-man parry from the Lash. Oh my god. Abrams goes down first, and really not what I expected as Wraith is chasing, doesn't get caged, misses the TP, unfortunately. Mirage getting chased down on the right side here. Probably will go down as well, as the side of Mama's Boys say. Doesn't matter if you have Rejuve, doesn't matter if you have Warden ult, we're going to parry you under Walker and finish you off.
Sheldon on the Ivy looking for the Walker kill here, gargoyling the stomp and almost getting the Walker, but barely not enough. Incredible back and forth fight here.
I mean,
Deathy is living on such low
crazy.
HP on the Lash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great parries. Good. He also had great movement as the Mirage dived him, and he was able to grapple with air dashes to escape the crosshair. Really hard for the Mirage to just follow that when Lash is jumping around. Now with stamina mastery. That's called.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all the Walkers are quite low, so even though you see 20k not worth diff now, I think Goo Creatures can still definitely pull it back, but they are one fight away from disaster, and it will be a comeback run once again, and it doesn't really feel like Goo Creatures is positioned for it.
You were mentioning this earlier that a lot of these teams, because they got your coaching, were very aware of like buff timing and stuff, and I'll be honest, like every single 5 minutes, these guys have been on top of it, rotating well and keeping track of the timers.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm telling you. Like,
these
guys are impressive, and at the end of the day, this is a community service, because these guys are then going to go back to matchmaking. They're going to be on top of it in matchmaking as well, right? And then that's going to make everybody else more on top of it. Warden going in though, Black Hole as well, as Lightning Scroll. Warden is going to cancel the Lash ult with the Lightning Scroll effect. Lash connects onto nothing, unfortunately. Warden is in there tanking every ability. Lash gets punched down. Can they finish him off? 2 kills go to the side of Goo Creatures, as they also have the comebacker. And so how will they play this out? Let's see.
Paradox is splitting the mid wave right now, so Paradox might look to get the last Walker here. Kind of not the one you want to be split pushing though. Big Geist Bomb here, chucking a lot of Goo Creatures down to like less than half HP.
Yeah,
Goo
Abrams going
Creatures has to be a little careful here, even though they do have numbers advantage. They are kind of low. This Geist is looking forward. ID cut on the bomb Geist, pressing the advantage. Yamato maybe caught out here with no shadow transformation.
Yeah,
Goo
so
Creatures unfortunately has to retreat.
Silver lining, they managed to pick up the urn at the very least. So even though a little sloppy, right? Great initiation to that fight. Unfortunately, they get picked off, but they do get to pick up the urn here. And I don't really see a world in which Mamba's Boys can contest this urn when they're down 3 players. Paradox, in fact, is very far up. I think that this is incredibly risky to try to go for this, but it looks like they do want to contest this urn, and Paradox maybe even a little bit too early, I would say. Mirage getting gone on, though. It looks like he's caught out of position completely, as he's 60 HP, gets taken down. Ivy going to try to go for the urn turn in here. Paradox misses the swap. Ivy does get the urn, but huge pressure from Mama's Boys here.
Warden fighting for his life here, but without ultimate, he's kind of... Unfortunately, last stand was on a 10-second cooldown, so just bad timing for a fight. Even though they did get the urn, they did lose 3, so... At least for Souls, it was not entirely a huge win.
Yeah, still a slight win, though, from a Souls perspective. They were down a little over 20k. Now they're only down 16k, right? So they managed to keep farming here. It's a very slight win. It also ensures that Mama's Boys don't get the urn here. And mid-boss is not currently up, right? So the only thing Mama's Boys can do is they can try to push the lane. Guardians, Yamato getting gone in here, has to retreat. Looks like base Guardians might go down here. We'll see what, the side of Goo Creatures try to do here, but I think they probably just have to give this set of base Guardians up.
I mean, Geist Gear is looking mighty tanky with heal tempo leech. Kind of lacking in bolt damage. Oh. Imp going in, getting instantly countered. Lash ult on 2. Only catches Imp out here. No max stun, so Imp ults out safely. Oh, he's gets caught out by that
actually gets caught out. Yeah, I thought he was going to live there, but
I thought
it goes down, and this is insane pressure on the shrines here. And mid-boss just spawned, so maybe the side of Mama's Boys can just back up and go to mid here.
Love the
However,
fast call.
you
Instant
do have to
pullback.
watch out. Warden's up, and he's got lightning scroll, right? So if you go for this mid boss, it's risky. Like you
Well,
might
Dynamo
get it in
does have
time.
unstoppable. Dynamo has
That's
unstoppable
true.
and black hole, so it's
But
not
they have
entirely
Yamato ult.
guaranteed. That is true. There is a.
I think they have the
little bit of
answers.
dice.
I think that this mid boss fight is gonna be the game, right? If the side of Goo
Wraith has
creatures manage.
curse.
Oh, interesting.
So, another layer to the complexity here. Unsure how it's gonna go. Yamato is too far away to
no.
actually contest this.
They're giving it up.
So,
I think they're not contesting at all. I don't like this at all. I think Goo creatures had a decent shot at contesting it if they were just ready for it.
They have the rejuvenator.
It's
they
unfortunate.
are down 20k. They are down 20k and a player on Abrams.
Yeah.
So,
But I
I can
think
see- I can understand the
they're down
hesitation,
20k, and now if they give up mid boss, I just like I struggle to see how they're gonna win this game. It's gonna be very difficult because now Ivy's 1 HP actually manages to
HP.
escape just barely, but
I love
another
this
fight
is-
happening
This
mid.
is my favorite build on Calico. This full burst cat. He's definitely been watching hydration. I think hydration's been playing.
Well, he's not even
Hydration's
he's
been
not
playing
even really. I mean, he's got 10k unspent. I would say he's mostly like bruiser. Oh, never mind. My HUD had to update. Whoops. But he still has 10k
Okay.
unspent, so we'll see. I was like
Yeah.
missing a couple items. The
Lightning
lightning scroll
scroll.
is very interesting.
I can understand it though. Or the former CC if he hits a lot of people with ultimate, especially with Arctic
Yeah.
Blast, sets it up really easily.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how this turns out, but this is starting to be a bit of an overwhelming lead. And at this point, Bust and Earn are spawning in 20. I think if you're the side of Mama's Boys, you just wait for them, right? You don't really have a reason
Ivy
to
now
go in
has
right now.
lightning scroll as well, so seeing a bit more pop up. Holiday now has blast cannon.
What?
Or sorry,
No,
crippling
crippling.
headshot. I completely misread it. I forgot.
Okay,
I meant to say crippling. I just point slipped a little bit. Has crippling headshot here. Went for pure duration instead. So I believe a little different from because he was the one who built Divine Kevlar, I believe. So interesting choice, adaptation. Warden ult going in here, changing the world.
Yep.
Hits 3, going insanely hard. Paradox caught out here. Kate, Dynamo Black Hole to counteract, but the Warden ult still going off. Keeps him alive. a little bit
Warden's
longer.
actually, oh my god. Warden ult might just be too strong for these guys as it also cancels the black hole, right, with the lightning scroll. Maybe a bit ambitious. Wraith does get a counter trade onto the Yamato and is now fighting for her life, but I believe that she is fully caught out. 300 HP, no TP, will be going down, and the Lash is just trying to pick up the urn at the very least, but Mirage, hot in his tail. Can he manage to catch up with him? I think Lash is going to be able to just escape here, but, I did not foresee Goo creatures winning that fight. I'm going to be honest. But the Warden lives on like 1 HP and takes down 2 people, and it's just enough.
I think unfortunately the Dynamo ult on the Warden, the Wraith was pumping bullets into the Warden as fast as possible, but because of the curse build, even though it doesn't provide 20% weapon damage, I believe the Wraith kind of just got DPS checked there a little bit, which is kind of insane to say for a Wraith. But unfortunately, maybe there were no crippling headshots, no real shred, I think, on the side of Mama Boys. So that
Yeah.
Warden was just able to stay alive.
Yeah, no real shred. And there is anti-heal, I believe, but is there enough anti-heal, right? Where's the... Let me see if there's any decays. I mean, I'm just looking.
they have
there's
anti-heal?
one decay on... Yeah, Paradox is decay and crippling. So Paradox is pretty much all of their anti-heal,
okay.
unfortunately. Nobody else. I don't think there's a single heal bane. I didn't see one, at least. Oh, no,
I-
there's one.
there's-
Sorry. Lash has
there's
one.
one on
No,
Geist.
there's two. There's two.
Yeah.
Geist and Lash
Okay.
have one.
Sure.
On the Paradox cam here, she's looking for a swap. Will she connect on anyone? Sees Abrams. Oh, barely misses. Unfortunate.
Warden now built Spellslinger, so Warden has Spellslinger Fleetfoot combo online. So kind of like a bit of a hybrid one, I'd say. Not fully investing into Warden. Probably the right way to play it. I'm not too sure. Not too educated on Warden build myself.
I mean, I think Warden
might
is
be the
such a
different
versatile character that you
Yep.
can really build it in a lot of different ways depending on what your team needs. I think that this game, the lightning scroll has obviously been paying off, and I think that I do believe that building more into ult at first is kind of the way to go, especially at this level. As Abrams gets Ivy fly, he gets saved by Ivy just in mid, but essentially to finish off the thoughts on the Warden, I think he's probably doing the right thing. Having more gun damage here and also Spellslinger just allows you to shoot the whole time. The only problem is you don't really have a whole lot of gun damage. So having a ton of fire rate, it'd be nice if you had maybe Berserker or something to give you a little bit more damage. They are pretty
Love the
flex
analysis.
slot starved though, right?
Yep.
They only have one flex slot 32 minutes in. So a lot of their builds are like, hey, we don't have any slots.
Kind of hurting, yeah. I would say the Mirage here. The Mirage is here sitting on 3,700. And now with Ricochet, I'm kind of
what is he
worried.
gonna
'cause I feel
buy?
yeah, like
He has no
I fear he's,
slots. Like,
he's
they need a
I'm-
slot.
Ready to lay
she's
down
hitting all the
law.
camps, but for what purpose? Just to feed another bag to the enemy? I'm a little worried that he's not gonna be able to spend the bag. Yamato built Refresher now. I fear the Yamato. I think the Yamato sold Cold Front here. For Refresher, so we're kind of hurting. We're losing like 200, 250 damage of AOE burst on the Yamato here in order to
Yeah.
find the slot.
It's
for
probably
Refresher
worth
here.
it, but it's just, man, it's hard.
Yeah. I just feel so
Holiday
bad.
gonna look for a lasso. Oof. Does not connect, unfortunately. Nice try. As Wraith ult for the counter initiation here. I'm going to be looking at the lash, see if you can get a big ult. Connects only onto Abrams, not exactly the target that you want to hit. As Yamato gets slammed, instantly dies, getting no value
Gets
from
cursed.
her ult.
He got
He
cursed
got
by the Wraith.
cursed. I see.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Holiday is also getting caught, by the way, so that's 2 kills. It's really not ideal, but we do have a split push from the Mirage, getting a Walker,
We got the
getting
flex.
a flex
We got
slot.
the
So, you know,
Yeah.
a little
Mirage is at
silver lining.
43K, so
There's going to be a fight on the side lane here. Look at the Ivy. Abrams is speeding in here, trying to help with this fight. This could be a big deal here. If they get some kills, that's really, really massive. Warden ult going in. Tornado onto the Geist as Paradox goes down, and Geist is going to go down shortly. So the base, however, is being pushed. Let's look at the Wraith as she's melting the shrines. And I think we're going to see the Patron being down here.
yeah, I mean this Wraith spreading into this without any like real explicit damage, 6k, just doing so much damage.
Yeah,
I guess she has Magnum,
She has
but-
Magnum. Curse gives
you know.
20% weapon damage too. It's not nothing. Especially now that weapon damage is harder to obtain. Dynamo
Oh,
Black Hole
big-
connects onto one. You know, Warden goes down. Wraith looking to ult someone else. Gets the Mirage. 2 kills going for the Wraith. And, I mean, this could be the end of the game if they're not careful, right? The Patron is down. It doesn't take much to finish the game.
Abrams is at 9. Abrams has 9,000 in the bag.
He gets Lash ult and he's going to go down as well. I think that's GG.
Rapid fires on cooldown.
Yeah, that lack of flex slot really just starved them. Like the Abrams just ended up just getting caught out with 9,000 in the back.
Lasso connects onto
think
the
it's
Wraith. Can they do anything? Wraith gets saved by Dynamo. Huge quantum entanglement as Wraith just focuses down the Patron. It's weakened. It's half health. TPs to get her shield. Keeps shooting it. Can they finish it off? It looks like she's getting zoned, but isn't quite enough. It looks like she's going to clean up here.
Ivy's trying the hardest. No Kudzu to thrown though. Kudzu's finally taking down, but it's not enough. Wow.
GG. And it looks like Mama's Boys 3-0. Seed number
seed.
1 coming out of the group stage. The Swiss stage, sorry. And what that means is that, you know, for the next weekend, which is going to be May 31st, we're going to be seeing them face off the seed number 8, which we don't know yet who that is because I don't know if all the matches have been ended, or maybe we do know who that is. I'll have to, you know, look in a sec or whatever. But yeah, I mean, really back and forth game. I mean, I think it's very clear that these teams are very, very close in skill level, right? This was not one-sided whatsoever.
Not at all. Very back and forth. Very entertaining to see. A lot of team fights, I think, like the last, or not the last few, but like in the middle, like there's 3 or 4 team fights where the team that was down 10 to 20k was ending up handedly winning, finding 2 or 3 picks just from good engages. So a lot of good communication I saw. A lot of the macro rotations, I believe, were strongly communicated. Both teams seemed very in sync in what they wanted to do and how they wanted to accomplish it, both in terms of rotation and in engagements. Very well polished. I'm impressed.
For sure. I think, you know, looking at the scoreboard real quick, I mean, the amount of damage being outputted by so one thing that we see is on the side of Mama's Boys, they very clearly had 3 heroes who they built for damage and 3 heroes who they built for like more utility, right?
Yep.
On the side of Lash, like Lash went unstoppable, stamina mastery. I mean, he probably should have went leap with the build that he had realistically, honestly, because he was so like he's so ult focused. But he went way more for utility than he did damage, right? The Paradox here went for the crippling and the decay for the team. You might think crippling is like a damage item, and it kind of is, but like, you know, it's also a good utility. And then a lot of the damage was focused on the Calico, the Geist, and the Wraith. And this Wraith was getting like some huge ultimates and curses off. And if I had to give MVP to anyone this game, it would probably be to RGR on the Wraith.
I agree. RGR had a lot of. I think one of the crucial turning points was when that Wraith was able to catch the Ivy on the solo lane, and then with the Dynamo solo ults, I think they caught Yamato and then turned that into basically 2 walkers, opening up the flex slots. We saw how much flex slots, or the issue of flex slots, hurt the side of goo creatures.
Yeah,
it's like some really crucial items like Yamato. I'm not entirely sure because I wasn't or we didn't really watch the Amazon perspective, but maybe
Mhm.
Cold Front could have helped turn a fight, give it a little bit more survivability through that spear resist. So
Yeah.
those flex slots really started hurting.
Yeah, the flex law advantage was definitely problematic as they all had to kind of switch up their builds. At the end of the day, I think on the side of Goo Creatures, I think Ebb had a ton of impact on
Yep.
the Dynamo as well. And you really can't, understate that. I do think also that this was one of the better like holidays we've seen this tournament so far. Like decent value from the lassos, good gameplay in general, and also getting up there and as far as like damage goes. And so I'm really excited to see what's going to come of these teams once we give them another week of practice. So just to give a little rundown for those that aren't familiar with the process, essentially what happens is after this week, all of these teams are going to get coaching with me. So I'm going to get in contact with them. We're going to schedule a coaching session with each of the teams, and we're going to review probably one of the games from today. I'm assuming that the Goo Creatures will want to look at this game specifically. And then the final day is going to be on Saturday, which I believe is May 31st. Let me get my dates right. Yep, that's Saturday, May 31st. And on the final day, it's going to be elimination day, and we'll see, whether the coaching helped the teams a lot or whether the teams, all improved at the same rate. So it'll be really interesting.
I'm excited. I mean, all the games today, even without fear of elimination, we're just bloodthirsty. We're hungry. I think with another week, we could completely see a different dynamic in the power levels of each team. Because as mentioned before, it was Seed 4 and Seed 6, I believe, that won North
Yeah.
America.
Seed 4 and Seed
Yeah,
6
so
were in the grand finals, yeah.
I think, from what we watched, every single team we saw today could be in the running to win, I believe. They all had strong picks, strong characters, and a lot of team cohesion, which I think can really go a long way in lifting
Yeah,
that final
definitely.
trophy.
I don't think that we didn't really see like any game that I was like, man, like this team is like so outskilled, they have no chance to win or whatever. I
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, any team could bring it home. And let me see if all the matches are over, so that way we can take a quick look. Yeah, so we've got the final seeding. So I'm gonna go. Well, maybe not final seeding because seeding is always up to change, but we've got the win-loss for everyone, and then sometimes we'll have to manually go adjust certain seating based on, because there's not really any good ways to do tiebreakers in this game, so we kind of have to look at it. But let me show it on the stream real quick. So first place, we've got Mama's Boys, who are going to be first seed, and in last place, we've got PFK, so they don't get to get their full name said yet, because they haven't won a game. So unfortunately, they'll get there though. I mean, we'll coach them for sure. And then
I believe,
in the 5, 6,
Justin
7
Ryan.
are New York Triad, Press Some Buns, and Patron Saints, who are all 1 and 2. And then 2, 3, 4 is Trophy Collectors, Goo Creatures, and Groglodites. So that's pretty much the standings for now. As far as the official seeding, we'll publish it in the Discord. If you guys are not in the Discord for the tournament, make sure that you join it. I just type !DDS in the chat so you can join that Discord. Essentially, if you want any updates related to the Deathy's Death Slam, all the events around it, if you would like to participate in a future one, apply, etc., make sure to don't join the Discord. That's the main hub that we use for this specific event. It's not my personal Discord, but we use it for this. And yeah, I'm going to just put us back on the camera scene as a little bit of an outro for the day. Give me a sec. All right, just making sure that I had all the info. So to finish it off, I'd like to thank everybody for watching today. We're going to be back next week, pretty much same time as we were today. So I don't know the time zones in EU, but today we started at 8 a.m. Eastern time, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So maybe you'll go back and take another nap after or something.
Might be. Or am I going? I think I'm planning on hiking and waking myself up. Right.
Oh, that's
sunny
fair.
morning.
Yeah. Get out there, get some fresh air. Anyhow, thank all of you guys for watching. Last little shout outs as well. Once again, shout out to Ref for helping in the on the backside of things. Shout out to Mofu and Meckril for helping with modding. Shout out to all the teams for playing. Shout out to Moshi for helping as well with administrative stuff, as well as like bot stuff. And yeah, if you'd like to support this event, you'd like to see more of just not just professional events, but more amateur stuff, giving back to the Deadlock community, to the average players, giving a better experience in matchmaking, then best ways to support, are subscribe or, get some coaching from me, !coaching. And we're going to roll a little outro, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so I'm going to roll it to the scene. Bye-bye, everybody.